So there you see the current as the countdown continues. The flags are up, and we are now under 3 minutes to go at 2:10. Emirates Team New Zealand will enter on the left side of your screen. They get the 10-second advantage to get in there, and some might argue whether it's an advantage or not, Ken, but it's bottom line, it's for safety purposes.
It is for safety purposes, and again, this ebb current has really changed this pre-race strategy for these guys. This being able to enter the box early has allowed these guys to set up really low, what's called low in the box, away from the wind, as we see it pan out on the left side of our screen. The other boat has had a hard time matching that pushing, blocking. The guy who enters first is the blocker, and it seems to be advantaged.
So in a case of tic-tac-toe, Emirates Team New Zealand gets to put their X down first, and the Americans will have to respond, and then the strategy is on. So Dean Barker coming close to the line at 2:10. They have now entered into the start box, and we are set to go racing. Day number 8, race number 11.
Todd, I think the pressure is squarely on Oracle here. It's probably an understatement. Team New Zealand, if they think about this, they can sail pretty loose, really be aggressive in the start. If I were the Kiwis, I'd be super aggressive in this start, because you win the start, there's a reasonable chance you can go on to win the race.
One quick difference between the two boats, I noticed that the New Zealand jib, the forward sail, is larger in area than the American boat.
Well, we turn to the president of North Sales. Ken, do you think that's an advantage for the Kiwis, or the Americans got it wrong?
I think these guys know exactly what their boat needs. Both boats are different, probably different in how they're balanced, and I think we can't doubt that these guys have the correct jib up for the right condition, both of them. You know, Team New Zealand actually headed back for the start line a little earlier than I thought they would in this particular situation, but look for them to really protect down to the left side of their boat as Oracle approaches from behind.
Same as the other day.
I heard Ray Davies say, same as the other day. They're really going to protect that bottom lay line, that left side of the track here right now.
Trim. Keep it high.
20 seconds to the line.
Big advantage Kiwis right now. They're both very firm on the wind right now, Gary.
New Zealand looking very strong, Ken.
The all clear has sounded, and the Kiwis will have the advantage at the line. Better positioning, and they are closer to mark number 1.
And they're just going to luff these guys right now. They're going to get them slow. Even though the starting gun is already gone, they're going to try to get them slow and really make a big gain once their speed's really parked. Great job by Dean Barker, really well thought out. Again, that port entry was the difference. They never relinquished being the blocker, in that starting sequence.
Actually, I think Spinhill did a good job hanging in there, being patient, and only being a length behind after that first start.
And now it's the drag race to mark number 1. Emirates Team New Zealand first to the circle. They'll make the left-hand turn with the Americans close behind. This is race number 11 on day number 8, and it's a 3-second advantage to the Kiwis.
You can see the differences in size of the jib. Notice the New Zealand jib is bigger.
And the Americans are the first to peel off.
You heard the tactician Ray Davies on board Emirates Team New Zealand say, we'll just drag this out a little bit longer. They're not worried about their air getting You know, the dirty air, disturbed air coming from Oracle. They're just going to look to spread it out a little bit here and start planning for later in the leg. Find the right time and the right breeze pressure to jibe in.
As New Zealand executes their first jibe, we go back and look at mark number 1, and we go back to the start, and this is where it all happened. How about this strategy? Basically just shutting the Americans down as the Kiwis pull in front.
And the Kiwis had to pull away at this stage. They couldn't wait any longer because they had actually just snuck forward enough to break the overlap. So Oracle actually got out of jail a little, kind of got out of jail free card there by the overlap being broken. Still, great job by Dean Barker.
And the call for the bear away as the Americans tried to get up to speed quickly, but you notice their holes really got dug down deep in the water.
Yeah, it's tough. Both of these boats have really narrow forward sections, but the Americans really narrow bow section of their boat tends to dig in when they try to accelerate, but it didn't make much of a difference. They were up on the foils quick.
The lead is over 115 meters, so it's the Kiwis out in front. The Americans trying to close the gap. Remember, this is a 5-leg race. This is the first race scheduled in the day, and if Mother Nature cooperates, we'll have a second race in which the Kiwis, if they won this race, could wrap it up and take home the America's Cup. Dean Barker very happy with that jibe.
I noticed the American boat sailing a much slower course than a New Zealand boat, and they're gaining being able to do that.
Not much in this right now, Todd. You see, it's amazing, 2 boats going 38 knots, and there'd only be a meter here or there being gained or lost between the 2 boats. It just shows you how far this sport has come, how far this America's Cup has come.
Got 40 seconds this way. Go on, build if we can hit. Yeah. 30 seconds.
And as they approach gate number 2, Gary Jobson, what do you see as far as tactics? Which way do you think the Kiwis will go when they look for a split?
Well, I think the Kiwis got to use the ebb current. It's going to be a little stronger out in the middle of the bay. I look for New Zealand to take the right gate, and on the opposite side, the USA to take the left gate.
I think the Kiwis have actually done a really nice job, Todd, kind of suckering Oracle off onto one side of the race course. What this is going to do is really potentially increase the possibilities of not having a split. And when you're the boat ahead, you don't want to split at this bottom gate. So you want both boats going around the same side. Now, just as I said that, I think we just heard Spithill say right turn down here. So maybe they're going to do a forced last-second turn. This is a really tough maneuver if you're Oracle Team USA.
And at mark number 2, the Kiwis head to the far gate, and the Americans do indeed split the course. So what was a 3-second lead at mark number 1, the Americans now trail by 6 seconds, but they've got their split.
But a really good rounding by Oracle. That's an incredibly hard maneuver on board these boats. Grinding hydraulics, grinding sails, grinding dagger boards up and down, and they made it look very easy.
Too far away. Hit a crosswind. Bring it up here. Yeah, that's too far away for boundary. Bring it up there on the breeze. Not that spiral. Yeah. Keep going, guys. Normal numbers. Nice and smooth.
And we have a lead change as the Americans have overtaken New Zealand here on leg number 3. The big question now is, can they make it stick?
But they're one tack behind. Now it's going to be this incredible contest of who starts getting the right-hand side again. If they're 2 even boats, could just be this dipping contest of who keeps trying to get starboard tack advantage.
Yeah. Yeah, they're gaining there.
As I look up the race course, I think the right side where New Zealand is, the wind is shifting in that direction toward Alcatraz Island. Better for New Zealand.
I think go earlier. Yeah, stand by here.
This is all about whether Team New Zealand will have a 3 or so boat length lead. If they do, Todd, look for them to tack right in front of Oracle. If they don't, they're going to have to cross and start this whole dipping contest all over again. Crucial moment in the race early on, and they do a lead bow tack. Trying to keep starboard tack. They thought they were far enough ahead, and clearly they were. This is a great move by Emirates Team New Zealand.
And the Americans decide to tack away. But we've seen this play out before where the Kiwis basically are in control of this race.
But this is a little different than the last race because the Kiwis got to set this whole process up well over on the left side of the race course. They get to shorten the track here a little bit and possibly start bouncing Oracle off that left-hand boundary. Here they go. They're going to go right back at him.
3, 2, 1, tacking.
A simultaneous tack from both the Americans and New Zealand. This is leg 3 of 5, race number 11. The Kiwis need 2 more wins, and the cup is theirs.
And those 2 tacks on both boats were just perfect tacks. Same setup here, Todd. This graphic shows that really the current is negligible at this stage. There is no real favored side. So let's see if the Kiwis keep trying to bounce these guys the other way. And I'm very surprised they don't. Gary, they don't bounce them over to the short side of the track. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a mistake. I would tack right on them and keep pushing them left. The thing is, the wind is lighter down where they are right now, and that bigger jib that New Zealand has is helping them go through these maneuvers.
God, I'm really surprised they didn't just continue that bouncing contest and keep, by bouncing, I mean tacking on top of the other boat and pushing them to the short side of the racetrack.
Well, still a good move by Oracle to keep the tack going. Their strategy is to stay in the middle of the course. Oracle's doing that.
I'll tax him, okay, confirm it then. No problem.
20 seconds, copy.
Still looking for a tiny bit of tax on.
20 seconds. 10. Standing by. 3, 2, 1, tacking.
And the Kiwis decide now is the time to tack with a lead of more than 100 meters, but it will shrink here on this maneuver. The Kiwis have the lead on leg number 3. The question is, can they hold on to it?
Keep going here, boys.
Emirates Team New Zealand with the lead on both the course and the scoreboard. Looking to wrap up the America's Cup today on day number 8. 2 more wins, and Dean Barker and company are taking home the cup back to Auckland.
One, tacking, all out of here. Wider. Copy. Big tag. Going well here, boys. Keep it in. Seconds, Dino.
Halfway through leg number 3, Todd Harris, Gary Jobson, Ken Reed. The Emirates Team New Zealand boat has the lead by about 118 meters over Team USA. The Americans trying to find a sweet spot on this course, but right now the Kiwis are firmly in control of this race and dictating pretty much where the Americans are going.
2, 1.
Both boats are working on the left-hand side of the race course so hard. You got to believe that they see something out there, Gary, that they believe to be favored on this left side.
Yeah, the reason, Ken, they're working that left side is the ebb is started first. It's a little stronger right along the shoreline than it is out in the middle.
For a while, give ourselves room. Tom. Sorry? Oh, we've got to go straight here for a while. Yeah. Open up the boundary. Missing a bit of immersion here, boys.
That's the voice, Todd, of tactician Ben Ainsley saying we got to go straight here for a little while.
The current does look better on the left side of the course,
Nice on
Kenny.
you here. Nice left-hander here.
What? Taking a picture of the spot.
Left-hander, the wind's coming from the side, right from the land. That will help New Zealand.
Todd, we aren't seeing either boat with any sort of real speed advantage here right now. This is a tactician's race as much as any other race we've seen in this event.
Names you need to know there. Ben Ainsley acting as tactician for Oracle Team USA, and the man with the 10 on his helmet. Then it's Ray Davies, the 41-year-old from New Zealand, is Dean Barker's tactician for Emirates. And the Americans going to that right side of the course are starting to close the gap, now within 60 meters.
Good move. High out, slower, good move. I think we keep this going.
And there you see just how close it is with the Americans actually sailing a little bit faster, almost a full knot faster.
And they just popped up on their foils. It's just incredible speeds. These boats started this at the beginning of the week going 22, 23 knots upwind. Here they go in 28 or 29. And here's Oracle coming back at these guys. They're out in the middle of the race course. They'll start stirring it up again.
Heading into a lockdown here, Nino. They're setting up into a lockdown.
New Zealand's going to keep their starboard advantage by continuing on here a couple lengths.
And the Kiwis decide now is the time to tack. And Ken, in this kind of close racing, as the Americans tack right back and look for the cross, how much could you steal from their boat and their call?
Well, I don't think we've ever seen such a tight tacking contest, like actual tacking duel, ever in catamarans. It shows how equal these boats actually are.
Kenny, as the boats work their way up to the windward mark, the wind is actually increasing up here, which will favor the boat ahead.
Todd, they're going to start looking to minimize maneuvers here. If Team New Zealand can just do one more tacking in, they'll probably do that and take the right-hand gate as we look out towards the Golden Gate Bridge, the right-hand mark.
All right, looking to leg number 4, which side of the course would you want to be on?
Well, you get starboard tack advantage like we saw the other day. You round that right-hand gate. If the boats were ever close and they came together on the first crossing on the run, New Zealand would have the advantage.
Now you want to stay away from the land going downwind on leg 4.
So the Kiwis take it all the way to the lay line on the left side of the course. We'll see if they can take it in all the way. And Jimmy Spithill and company look like they are set up as well.
Todd, that was not Oracle's best tack right there. They got down to 10 knots in that tack. They didn't pop that weather hull out of the water real quickly, and that cost them a little bit of time. New Zealand did a really nice job, Gary, at the top of this leg.
Yeah, he's across on lane line.
Very close cross here, but New Zealand looking good.
At mark number 3, the Kiwis, who had a 3-second lead at mark 1, a 6-second lead at mark number 2, and they will continue to pad that lead. This time it will be into the double digits as the Americans come through at gate number 3 and make the turn for home. They are now trailing Emirates Team New Zealand by 17 seconds.
Pressure here.
Oracle Team USA got into a tacking duel on leg number 3, and unfortunately for the Americans, it did not go their way. Emirates, who had been closed down by 25 meters to the Americans, now have a sizable lead of almost 200 meters. Perfect example of how one mistake can cost you a race. Oracle Team USA can have one bad tact on that upwind leg, and now they find themselves, just moments ago, they were 25 meters behind the Kiwis, and there you see the lead, almost 300 meters.
But it was also the setup. They had to do one extra tack, Todd. I think that was even more important. Team New Zealand did a really nice job of bouncing them one additional time, of setting up that they only had to do one tack into that weather gate compared to Oracle's 2 tacks into the weather gate. That's the advantage that the boat ahead has if they play their cards correctly.
Got a quick shot there of Ray Davies, the tactician for Emirates Team New Zealand, calling the race for Dean Barker, the skipper and helmsman.
As we said on leg number 1, the smallest differences in boat speed means it turns into a tactician's race. Obviously, Ray Davies, it was getting tight at the top mark. He nailed it, making Oracle do 2 jives. We'll know how nervous Team New Zealand here is in a second if they do 2 jives just to get over in front of Oracle. They seem pretty comfortable out there, though, right now, Todd.
And while we have a moment, we go on the water. Gary Jobson for more on the measurement configurations.
You know, I'm just looking at these 2 boats. They sailed right by us. And it seems to me that Oracle might have changed their boat to make it a little bit better for lighter winds, which were forecasted. Now the wind is up, and they might have slowed themselves down relative to New Zealand for these stronger winds.
They have closed the gap, which was over 300 meters. It is now just over 200 meters. So the Americans are gaining, but Ken, are they just going to run out of real estate here on the San Francisco Bay?
But they are gaining. They're sailing a lower angle out here. It looks to be a fairly dramatic wind shift, actually. They're sailing a lower angle all the time than Emirates Team New Zealand, staying parallel to that boundary. It's a very different course right now. The 2 of them are sailing. If I were on Emirates Team New Zealand, I'd be getting a little nervous.
I mean, Ken, this is the classic case where you simply want to cover. You have a 300-meter lead. New Zealand should have just jived over and stayed in front. Now the race is almost even.
They have cut it in half. Gary Jobson, as you pointed out, what was a 300-meter lead is now down to 153-meter lead.
Right now, Oracle's actually laying this gate, and Team New Zealand has to do 2 jives. They're going to come together. This is going to be pretty close.
And just to translate that, Kenny, are the Americans looking at going straight into mark number 4 without any more jives?
Well, in a perfect world they are, but this is the defining moment in the race. Not just a boat handling moment, but can Team New Zealand get across and plant themselves in front of Oracle?
New Zealand has a good chance to jive and block the wind of Oracle Team USA. So New Zealand is in the driver's seat.
I don't think Oracle's laying this gate right now, Gary, anyway. They've gotten lifted a little bit as the 2 boats have come together.
3, 2, 1, driving. Down, that's cleaning.
His drive's okay, he's clear ahead.
It's now under 100 meters, the lead for the Kiwis.
The little pressure showing on New Zealand there. That wasn't their best jive. Still a little loose on after the jive. Both boats are going to have to soak to get around this mark.
So sail a lower course.
Thank you.
At mark number 4, the race is on. The Kiwis have relinquished a huge lead that was over 300 meters, and now it's down to about 85 meters, but just one leg to go as the Americans are close behind.
Both boats got really slow there. They ended up overstanding the mark, being slightly upwind of the mark, but it doesn't seem to matter. New Zealand is in dominant position again.
On board Oracle Team USA as they make the mark 18 seconds behind.
I think that look on Jimmy Spittle's face told the entire story.
The body language there, it was a great last-second gasp. You look like they closed it, and it almost seemed like Emirates Team New Zealand, Kenny, gave them the opening. As you pointed out, not their best jibe in this regatta.
Surprising, but talk about being under pressure. They got the they got the America's Cup peeking around the corner right now. It just wasn't their best jibe. They need to be a little smoother in those tough, tight spots, but just enough to stay ahead.
You know, Kenny, if that wind had stayed the same direction for Oracle Team USA for about 30 more seconds, they would have been exactly even. The wind did them in.
Day number 8, race number 11 belongs to Emirates Team New Zealand. The Kiwis now just one win away from the America's Cup. With a fantastic third and fourth leg. It just wasn't to be. As Gary pointed out, the wind did them in, and they just didn't have enough pressure to catch them. So the Kiwis are now on the precipice of taking away the America's Cup from Oracle Team USA. Race number 11 goes to Emirates Team New Zealand. Dean Barker, his tactician Ray Davies, a fantastic job, and they now will begin the setup for what could be the defining moment for Emirates Team New Zealand.
Pretty good. It seems like, you know, that it was that same lane where it got a bit, he made a little bit of a gain, you know, to Lewin going out on fourth there, you know, just, that was the only time he gained.
That's the classic conversation between the skipper. You're trying to come up with all the reasons in the world why your boat is plenty fast. So the other guy gained because of wind shifts, you gained because of boat speed. That's classic skipper talk right there.
And the Kiwi population continues to grow in San Francisco as Emirates Team New Zealand is now just one race away from claiming the 34th America's Cup.
Rumor has it there's about 3 cars total on the streets in Auckland, New Zealand as we speak.
Productivity down under not happening today as everyone is glued to their television sets to see if the oldest trophy in international sport is in fact coming back to New Zealand.
Great start by Dean Barker. That's really, that was it, right? There was actually no passes in this race. Fantastic start by Dean Barker. Did exactly what he had to do with that port tack advantage that he had off the starting line.
Now, I know Dean Barker could care less about TV and TV ratings, but he did a fantastic job on leg number 4 to get people glued to their TV because what was a 300-meter lead cut down to 70 meters, and it was an impressive performance by Oracle Team USA, but in the end, it was Emirates Team New Zealand and Dean Barker that gets the win. As Dean Barker brings it around, they get ready for what will be race number 12. Dean, congratulations on the victory. That was some amazing stuff. Take us back to the start. Was it a preset plan, knowing what you were going to do and expecting what Jimmy would retaliate with?
Well, you're never really quite sure how it's going to play out. You know, we had a bit of an idea how we wanted to attack it, and it worked out about as well as it could have. You know, we had a nice little jump, so had a good first run. You know, bottom mark, another split, and then, you know, sort of backwards and forwards a bit after that. So, yeah, you know, obviously very happy to sneak away with another one.
Hey, Dino, obviously the boat coming in from the port side where you guys came in that time, and this ebb current is having a big advantage. What do you guys got strategically to try to fend off Oracle, who has that port tack advantage this time around?
Well, it's tough. You know, there's no two ways about it, because you've got to try and drag the action off the ley line, and you don't have a lot of time if their timing's good. So, yeah, not easy.
Dean, I'm wondering if you think Oracle's a little slower going upwind than we saw this weekend.
Well, they're not slow. Oh, it'd be nice if they were a bit slower. Yeah, it's just you know, two boats which are pretty even in performance. So not a lot to separate them.
Dean, play weatherman for us momentarily. As you look out there, and what kind of information are you getting? Does it look like you're going to be able to get race 12 in today?
Well, it's the biggest issue is going to be just the ebb tide. It's the factor, I think, for the second race is going to be nearly 3 or around 3, and that's obviously going to be. I mean, you can only have about 20 knots of breeze, which we sort of had at the start line earlier. But who knows? It's we'd love to get another race away, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Have you and your crew allowed yourself the opportunity to think about what could be with one more win?
Oh, not at all. No, it's every 1 year it's just so hard. It's monumental battles, and you're just thankful for every win you get, and if we can get one more, well, that'd be very cool. But we're certainly not even contemplating what would happen.
Dean, we appreciate your time. We'll let you get ready for the second race.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers, guys.
Dean Barker, the skipper and helmsman of Emirates Team New Zealand, as they prepare for what could be the defining moment for Emirates. Race number 12 is scheduled to get away here in about 15, 20, make it 25 minutes if the ebb tide and the wind cooperate. As we now go on board Oracle Team USA, Jimmy Spithill, the helmsman. Jimmy, that was one heck of a race. The start probably not where you wanted to be, but wow, you guys came charging back, and this thing was neck and neck as we got to that last mark.
Yeah, obviously we messed up the time and distance on the start, and straight out of the drive we were just late, so big mistake there. But the boys put in a great effort, and really started to grind them down, and it was all on right till the finish. So, we've just got to get back into it and get on with the next one.
Hey, Jimmy, I just asked Dean the same thing, but this port tack, the boat that gets into the starting box early, seems to have a big jump in this ebb tide. You guys have it this time. What can the other guy do? What can you do at that stage?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think the option in hindsight for us was probably just to try and jive and go in front. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the only thing in hindsight we could have done.
Jimmy, the ebb current's going to be building here now, creating a little bit more chop. Based on what we saw this weekend, do you favor having more chop for your boat?
I just think we favour more wind, to be honest. I don't think the chop's too much of an issue, because if the breeze is up, then pretty much on the foils upwind as well. So, yeah, look, as long as it brings more wind, I think we'll be happy.
All right, Jimmy, give us a prediction, and what's the message going to be to you and the crew as you get ready for this 12th race today?
It's not over. It's a long way from over.
Jimmy, thanks for your time. Best of luck to you. The Americans on the left, the Kiwis on the right, as we take you on board Emirates Team New Zealand and their crew, and they have done just a fantastic job. Give whatever credit you want to the pie warmers on the back of the boat, but this has been really Dean Barker, Ray Davies and company, just been the faster boat so far in this regatta.
They've been the better boat, clearly the better boat. It's interesting, Jimmy Spithill said he's excited to be in this position in that pre-dock. I don't know anybody who's excited to be down 8-1.
On board Oracle Team USA as they go through final preparations to get underway. They know exactly what they have to do, not lose.
Yeah, these guys, hey, the pressure is firmly on. I think, like Gary said, the pressure's firmly on Jimmy Spithill here right now. You'd love to spread it out amongst the team, but the helmsman has so much to do with the instincts when it enters that starting box. Getting off the line first is imperative for Oracle.
So with 2:41 now to go until the start of the race, we check in on the water with Gary Jobson for a report on the conditions.
Hey, Todd, Kenny, the wind has really changed here. Just in the last 3 or 4 minutes, it's blowing in hard. I expect the chop to get pretty nasty out here, and both boats have bigger jibs than they had up yesterday. So shifting gears and being able to handle heavy winds with such big sails is going to be a tough one.
Well, the wind is now peaking, as Gary pointed out, closer to 17 knots. Wind limit should not be a problem in this first race, but in San Francisco, it always builds in the afternoon. And here come the Americans into the start box as they have port entry.
Todd, it'll be interesting to see if they take this port entry and they just try to go down deep in the box like we've seen before. Very close cross, port starboard. Team New Zealand's right on their tail out of the blocks, not making it easy for Oracle, that's for sure.
Ken, the closest we've seen the boats at this point early in the start.
When the boats are that close, it typically forces the boat ahead to actually commit a little sooner than they'd like to. And all of a sudden, it gives New Zealand the option to possibly take that bottom side of the start line that we've seen to be so valuable. This is a big switch up as to what we've seen in the last few days.
Both boats very close to the line. They'll have to kill a lot of speed here.
Now, Gary, they were so close coming together there. That typically also means that the breeze has gone to the left, that it's a left shift coming off the shore. Do you see that?
I do see that, and I think Jimmy's going to go for a hook and try and get underneath now with them so close.
Todd, they're really far down in the box. They're down near that yellow line, which is the lay line to the mark. It's hard to hook when you're down that far down the line. Let's see if Team New Zealand can hold them off. Pretty close to the line, though, with 25 seconds to go.
Both boats very much at risk of being over.
And Spithill gets the dominant hook. Just as I was saying, it's going to be hard for him to do. Dominant hook. Team New Zealand tacks to port. They'll come right at them on starboard again, and they're going to be late. Jimmy Spithill nails it.
Big tacks back. Okay, here we go.
So the all clear is given, and we are racing. Day number 9, race 12 is off.
Wow. The mistake by New Zealand was being too close to the line too early.
Well, they got that chance to jump in front and to try to take the left side of the starting line early on in the 2-minute sequence, and it didn't work. They were too early, like Gary said. Oracle pounced.
Go, boys, go. Nice. Good puff for the barrelway here. We're 2 lengths ahead.
And at mark number 1, it's the Americans with the lead in a do-or-die situation here in San Francisco. The lead is just 5 seconds. Now, the Americans have been the faster boat on the downwind leg, Ken. The big question is now, can they build on this?
Yeah, breeze off the shoreline. Let's see if this left-hand shift, or the breeze has shifted to come off the city front, off the shore side here. Let's see if they can really milk this, go all the way down the city front, an awful long way. That always benefits the boat out in front.
I noticed New Zealand going up and down on its hull a lot more than the American boat, an indication that maybe Dean Barker's having a little trouble steering. Nervousness being behind, maybe?
Good mode. Okay, let's set up. Stand by. Go back, Tommy. Go forward, Simeon. Keep going, Simeon.
Standing by. 3, 2, 1, driving.
Let's go back to the start quickly as they make their first jibes here. Was this a question of Dean Barker being a little too aggressive, Ken Reed? And did Jimmy Spithill make the most of it?
Well, they went at 2 minutes. They came together, and they were so close. This all of a sudden gave Dean Barker a lot more options than we've seen the boat coming from the starboard tack side have in the past. So yeah, did he change up his strategy? Absolutely, as you would, but it should be an advantage at this stage. Problem was that they got too close. Team New Zealand got too close to the line. They get a proper hook, and rest is history.
Here it is on virtual eye one more time. The Americans getting a port entry. They come in very fast. They go deep. But this time the Kiwis, look how close that cross was.
It was a close cross, and all of a sudden they decide to take the lead back. Jimmy Spithill does a nice job of being patient here. I was worried that they were going to be too low on the lay line for that left-hand end. He knows a little more than I do about how these multi-hulls work, and got a nice little late hook and really forced the issue right away. He also was very patient there. He could have gone with Team New Zealand onto port tack. That makes him very vulnerable as the rules go. He just stayed, waited, and then took off at the right time. This is textbook, what we call a hook.
Back to live racing action. This is leg number 2 of race 12 as we check in on the water with Gary Jobson.
Well, the race continues here. New Zealand about 100 yards behind going downwind. The speed's not very much different. We're going to look for a split at the leeward gate, taking off on opposite sides of the course.
A little bit quicker, maybe. Okay, Bill. Yeah, we're slightly slower. Here it comes. Okay. Pressure should be okay here. No interim. And we're slightly faster, slightly higher, but similar VG.
That's the job of the strategist, Tom Slingsby, just calling the other boat. Actually, what you notice, they're calling their own boat. It's a very typical of the strategists. They refer to only their boat. We are blank. We are higher, we are slower, we're faster. Really good communication.
2, 1, driving.
Certainly no sense of panic on the American boat, that's for sure.
So the Kiwis determined now is the time to jibe as they set themselves up for mark number 2. This could be the telltale sign of the race of who goes which way. The Americans obviously would love to get a split, but Ken, you and Gary both pointed out the left side of the course going back upwind will be the fastest.
Yeah, there's big current lines out there right now, too. Look at that, Todd. That big current line. This is a tough spot if you're ahead. You really have to try to plan out. You have to have well ahead of time your strategy of where you want to be on this beat. And you can see Oracle wants to be heading out into the middle likely. They're going to do one more jibe and in is my guess.
Keep it on the foil, boys, around here, okay? Second, and then we'll get camera. They jibe back now, no problem. Yeah. Save it to this left gate.
So this will create the split that Gary was referencing, with Oracle heading offshore and Team New Zealand heading inshore. Not much in it.
And at mark number 2, it's the Americans first there. They head outside, so they will head into deeper waters, and that leaves the option open for the Kiwis at mark 2. And they will split the course.
Gary, I'm kind of surprised that Oracle chose to go offshore here. I mean, I was surprised at how late they were at the hook at the mark and at the start. What do I know? But you would think the ebb is actually increasing along the shore front quicker than it is offshore right now. I'm surprised they chose this route.
Yeah, Ken, well, first of all, you know a lot, so don't underestimate your knowledge here. I'm surprised, too. Why open the door? We know the ebb's going to be better along the shore, and the water's going to be a little bit less choppy. Where Oracle's right now, the waves are going to be pretty nasty.
So an early tack for Oracle Team USA. Their lead was 11 seconds after mark number 2. They led by 5 seconds at mark number 1.
Probably foiling on us. Get pressure here.
And the lead is shrinking.
The only problem for New Zealand, you don't want to get too close to the shore because the wind, to my eye, Kenny, is really light right up along the shoreline, along the city front.
Happy with the mode? I think he's saying that they're faster all the time.
You see Oracle actually foiling right there, Todd. They're in a high speed mode right now. You sail upwind in different modes, a high mode or a low mode. there's that current that we were referencing. I'm really surprised Oracle chose to go offshore first, but here comes our first big cross, and let's see how they go.
Perfect place to tack for New Zealand. If they'd gone 5 lengths further, the wind would have gone way down.
So, Ken, is this a case of the Kiwis are basically on a conveyor belt when you talk about the current going upwind?
That's exactly what they are. That's exactly, and we're going to find out how much of a conveyor belt. I think they've closed up quite a bit here. It's not exactly a dip. It's not as tight across as we've seen in the past, but they are certainly a lot closer, and I would attest that to be even just a better current that whole time.
Of course, now Oracle could take advantage of the current inshore, but they too can't get too close where the wind is light.
Kiwis traveling at 25 knots currently. They trail the Americans, who have led for the entire race. The Americans now in a very favorable position, but as Gary pointed out, light wind on the left side of the track.
But they were just going 31 knots upwind. Who would ever have thought these boats could have gone 30 knots upwind? It's really, it's remarkable. We started the Louis Vuitton series, they were going 30 knots downwind, to give you an idea of how much gain there's been in the speed of these boats. Nice little extension by Oracle here.
Get it go. 300-meter separation.
Good opportunity for Oracle to tack on New Zealand's breeze, but they don't seem to be taking it.
No, I think it's a little too close, Gary. To throw 2 tacks in that close to the shoreline, I think would be a tough spot for any catamaran.
Well, that's an impressive sight. Yeah, that's an impressive sight right there.
Foiling upwind was kind of like, have you seen Sasquatch when we first got to San Francisco? People had said they've seen it, but no one was for sure, and now, in fact, it's a common sight.
Sasquatch? We've been doing this too long.
Here's the cross on leg number 3. So the Americans have the lead. Can they hold on to it? We'll find out shortly from San Francisco.
Get it going.
Still hovering around 100 meters. Both boats going through their tacks, heading upwind here on leg 3 of 5. The Americans must win this race, or the America's Cup goes to Emirates Team New Zealand.
Standing by.
Looks like they're just coming into same current now. They're out of one of those big current lines, both boats. Really, for the first time, they're probably in very similar currents, side to side.
Gary, what can you tell us about the current status right now?
Well, I'm looking at the boats coming right up the city front, and right now you want to be close to the city. That current is sweeping out toward the Golden Gate, and that's why this is so close now.
A huge moment here in San Francisco. On the cross, leg number 3, the Americans with the slight advantage over Emirates Team New Zealand in a must-win situation.
As always, the Kiwis will never go away. Their tenacity is incredible. I'm actually surprised that Oracle forced them back into the left so early on those last 2 tacks, because it just kind of pushed them in the right place. You love it when your competitor pushes you in the right spot.
Nice tack. Beautiful. Up to speed.
Never slower than 17 knots going through a tack. That is impressive.
Man, have they learned how to do that.
What the boys are referring to earlier this regatta, the Americans clearly having issues getting their tacks in, and they have certainly worked that problem out.
You can see that current line right in the middle of the screen. It's better on the left side of the screen than the right.
Got a shot of Ben Ainsley, the 4-time Olympic gold medalist, playing tactician for Oracle Team USA.
Good mode, good mode.
Going really well, fully foiling upwind.
Okay, guys, set up, stand by.
You're going to see Oracle tack on Team New Zealand here for sure and keep the left side of the race course.
Okay, anytime. Here we go.
I think New Zealand should attack a lot sooner to get back to the left.
Keep going, guys. Nice work. Really nice mode there. Detach back. Straight into that mode, guys. That's perfect. Make sure we got the pressure. Pressure's good here.
Constant chatter on Oracle Team USA. Emirates Team New Zealand drifting back just a bit as the lead now has gone out to 150 meters. And Ken, not a minute and a half ago, it was within 30 meters.
I think Oracle has a really nice mode. They keep talking about their mode, as do we. I think they found a really nice mode in this ebb current that they could go super fast in. Both seems to be performing very well upwind here today.
The wind is getting a little lighter as they approach the windward mark.
But a good play by Ben Ainsley here, forcing your competitor in the direction you think is wrong tactically. Force them out into less current. You take the side you think has more current. And possibly a better wind shift.
Right side of your screen.
USA. Yeah, big game.
Right side of your screen, you got a good look at Rome Kirby and Jonah Macbeth grinding away.
Coming into more pressure.
There's the goal on this beat. Gate number 3 with the Americans out in front. Their lead 128 meters and growing.
There we go. Yeah. 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Now Oracle's trying to set up Team New Zealand for that one final kill. That one, force them to do one more maneuver than they have to do as they come into this weather mark, or force them to overstand the mark. Either way, the boat ahead is always, they have a big opportunity to gain here. Here we go. They're going to do 2 tacks. My guess, Team New Zealand, Oracle will only do 1.
Going to lay line, no problem. 10 seconds.
Good call, Ken. Ben Ainsley says, let's just go to the ley line. We don't want any extra tacks. Let New Zealand make them.
And as the Americans hit the ley line, the lead is up to 150 meters on leg number 3.
Something interesting between Ben Ainsley and what John Kostecki was doing at the beginning of the week. He brings himself into the middle of the boat a lot during these races, where Kostecki was always grinding from the high side and doing tactics from there. Has to be very difficult to see your opposition on the other side of a wing.
So the strategy pays off for the Americans. They force the Kiwis into an extra tack as the Americans hit gate number 3 first, but it is a very small lead, and it looks like Jimmy Spithill will opt for the deeper water. See rounds gate number 3. The Kiwis heading the opposite direction, and again, they have split the course. So the race is on to mark number 4. The Americans lead still over 100 meters over the Kiwis. So So Gary Jobson, you'd have to consider Mark III a huge success strategically for the Americans.
Well, 10 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but that's about 8 boat lengths. We are right next to Oracle Team USA now. They just went through a perfect jive and another huge gain. Being offshore here out in the middle of the bay is a big advantage.
Normal mode here. Okay? No problem with him. Nice game.
So the Americans go into normal mode. There you see the gain, Ken. Folks at home may be saying, well, it's still 8-1. The Kiwis have this thing wrapped up. The sense you get, though, is you do not want to give the Americans any more momentum than they already have.
That's exactly right. And Dean Barker knows in that pre-race interview, he said, these guys are formidable, they're dangerous, we don't want to let them off the mat, so to speak. And sure enough, they're giving them a chance right now.
Leg 4 of 5. This is race number 12, day number 9 of the 34th America's Cup. Alongside Gary Jobson and Ken Reed, I'm Todd Harris. The Americans firmly in control of this one, and they have to be. If they lose another race, the America's Cup leaves their hands and goes back to New Zealand.
I got it.
So the Americans sailing 2 knots faster downwind. They have the lead. They look very smooth. And Ken, for the folks watching at home, they may say, we were less than 100 meters as they approach gate number 3. Where did everything go wrong for the Kiwis and right for the Americans?
Well, it doesn't take much. First of all, when you round the weather mark, that weather gate, you automatically accelerate. You start going about 10 knots faster than the other boat going upwind. So you automatically create a jump just from going downwind compared to upwind. And then they obviously got this first wind shift correct. There's a little bit of luck involved in that, but at the same time, you make your own luck. They clearly got into the first wind shift and at least doubled, maybe tripled their lead.
And Gary, you're down on the water. What did you see? What did the Americans do so right, and where did the Kiwis miss out?
Well, we saw the wind getting lighter as they were getting up toward that windward gate. Just wasn't much along the shore. New Zealand rounded the left gate, went along the shore, and that's where they lost the distance. They didn't have the wind to give them the speed.
But Todd, to be honest, they didn't have a choice either. You know, the lead boat dictates what the boat behind is going to do going into those situations. The Kiwis took the hand that they were dealt, and it didn't work.
Yeah. And going. I'd say he's doing 37s probably. And he's gaining, man.
Emirates Team New Zealand General Manager Grant Dalton on board as a grinder. And right now, there's nothing that he can do to help them to go any faster. It looks like from that shot they're close, but as we pull out, you'll see that it is well over 400 meters away, what we like to refer to as the Batmobile. And Emirates Team New Zealand is running out of time and distance.
You know, having Grant Dalton on the boat has been very important. He gets off often in the second race, but I think he needs to stay on board, settle this team down for the second race this afternoon.
Well, for the longest time, we have said that the Kiwis are just the faster boat here at this 34th America's Cup. But the numbers don't lie, and right now, Kenny, the Americans are clearly the faster boat.
Yeah, it could really be a little of anything. Remember, compared to most boats that we sail, these guys actually sail into the puffs dead in front of them. Where the breeze is coming from, those accelerations or decelerations are right in front of them. That's how fast they go. That's how much apparent wind they create. So it's a whole different philosophy. You can literally sail into a puff and extend and sail away, and there's nothing the boat behind can do about it.
20 seconds. 15. 10. 5. Go board.
Todd, you can't help but think this has been a long few weeks, long couple of years, but these guys have been non-stop now for days and days in a row. Exhaustion has to happen at some stage.
Mark number 4 is the Americans, and now they head for home.
Pressure's good all the way. Karen will be helping you up here, Jimmy.
And unlike yesterday, mark number 4, not that close. As the Kiwis make the turn, they are down by 29 seconds as the Americans head for home, and this victory will go the way of Oracle Team USA. Ken, they did exactly what they had to do. As you pointed out, they had to get the start. That was mission number 1.
They must have read our pre-race script. I mean, really, give these guys a lot of credit. The pressure is all over them, and they have performed under the heat that the world sailing community is just heaping on these guys. Really well done by Oracle Team USA in this race.
So the Americans will come to the line and they will extend this series. Oracle Team USA gets the win in race 12. No major celebrations on board. That is just one down. They need 7 more wins to keep the cup. And for the Kiwis, Dean Barker, you can always imagine what he's going to say. It's one race.
Regroup. Just get over it. There's one thing, these Kiwis, their incredible composure and demeanor, just solid, flatline demeanor. These guys will be totally sorted out and ready to go for this next race.
Well, the proud Kiwis are out in force for the school children back in Auckland. Unfortunately, celebration cannot happen just yet, as we have been extended now to race 13. And now the biggest question is, what will Mother Nature do? Knowing San Francisco and the way the wind builds in the afternoon, everyone will now start looking at the numbers. But the most important number is the Americans pick up win number 4 of this regatta, and they keep the Kiwis from getting win number 9 and game, set, match.
You saw the coach, the coaches completely surrounding the afterguard there, Spithill, Ainsley, and they're talking about strategy already. What they liked, what they didn't like, what they saw, what they didn't see. Really good opportunity for these guys just to do a quick regroup and to start working on their strategy immediately for the next race.
Ken, I might see a sail change here. They have a pretty big sail up. The wind is building, so they might change that jib to forward sail.
And Gary, while we've got you on the horn, what do you think about the wind? We've been building the last few days. It's been like clockwork. Do we get the second race in today?
Well, it is a little less at this point than it was yesterday, so maybe that helps out. But the current is starting to ebb, which lowers that wind limit. It's a wait-and-see situation. We've got roughly a little over a half an hour for the next start.
So we can tell you this, on day number 9, race 12 goes the way of Oracle Team USA, the defenders of the America's Cup. It now stands 8 wins for New Zealand, 4 wins for the USA, or 8 points to 2 points. So the Americans clearly not out of the woods yet. They will regroup, head back out to the start as Larry Ellison and company look on, because they are still, Ken, despite this, they are still in win or go home mode.
I don't see Larry exactly jumping up and down, but you got to say there's certainly a sigh of relief from that tender, that's for sure. He's been out there on the water just about every day. There we go. Little cheer for the boys from the boss. Anything you can get at this stage, just one race at a time, like they keep saying.
And there's a sail change.
So good call by Gary Jobson. Changes being made, all kinds of things going on board Oracle Team USA. The defenders, meanwhile, Emirates Team New Zealand will take quick stock of what went wrong, and I'm sure they're going to go back and immediately talk about the start.
Yeah, they come in, though, from the same exact side. But we've lost so many days. We've gotten out of sequence. It was originally designed so you'd come in from the port side one race per day and come in from the starboard side the other race per day. We've gotten just a little out of sequence. Today happens to favor the Americans in both races. They'll be coming up in from that favored side. There'll also be a stronger ebb, so there may even be more of an advantage to that favored side, that left side of the start box.
Massive sales coming off of Oracle Team USA as they are in fact making a change. We now go on board with the helmsman of Oracle Team USA, the defenders of the Cup, Jimmy Spithill. Jimmy, congratulations. I noticed not a lot of celebrating after you got that win and the boys immediately going back to work.
Yeah, it's straight back to the business. The boys are really focused today and very hungry, and they're just really accepting the challenge. So we're straight on to the next one, and that's how we're going to treat it, one after the other.
So Jimmy, down 8-1, now 8-2. Is there more pressure or less pressure? You can actually make a case. The mountain seems so high at this stage. There's actually less pressure, nothing to lose as you go out there.
Yeah, in some ways there is. I mean, yeah, look, we love a challenge, and we've certainly got what we wish for here. But I tell you, the boys this morning, it was almost a bit of excitement, you know, because they really embraced it, and you know, they just held a fantastic race. So look, we've just got to really focus one at a time, do the little things right, and keep chipping away.
Jimmy, we always thought you were a little suspect in the middle breezes, but you're foiling upwind in the middle breeze, upper middle, going faster. How are you able to keep increasing your speed?
Just a lot of hard work, Gary. I mean, we've just every night we've been very, very critical with each other and pretty candid, and you know, the design engineering guys have been spending a lot of time at it, and we're just trying to improve every single day. I mean, the learning curve since we started the America's Cup has just been very, very steep, and every single day we're learning something, and hopefully we can make a couple of steps for this next race as well.
Well, Jimmy, the start looked awfully good. Might have to start referring to you as Captain Hook as you put it on the boys from New Zealand. Best of luck to you. We'll see you in the next race.
Thanks, guys.
Jimmy Spithill, the helmsman for Oracle Team USA, as they pick up the victory in race number 12 here on day number 9. The Kiwis regrouping as well, making changes on board, getting a little nutrition to the lads on the boat. And you know the Kiwis well, Kenny. They won't be rattled at all.
And there's the king of not being rattled, Mr. Dalton.
Grant Dalton, the general manager of Emirates Team New Zealand, now joins us. All right, Grant, what's the mood like on board Emirates Team New Zealand, and where did that race get away from you?
Well, I mean, it's always hard in starboard entry, you know, and I mean, we've always sort of seen these two as very difficult because of the starboard entry, and tried to get the action in the start, didn't quite work out. I thought our speed was okay. Got back into it at the top mark, not much in the boats upwind really, and probably similar downwind. So pretty hard to make that deficit up, and they're getting better. We just got to keep chipping away at it.
Hey Grant, are you on for this next race, or are you gonna take a breather and let Winston take over?
Yeah, no, Winston will be on for the next race, mate. A little bit of muscle on board.
Grant, have you been making some changes to your boat? You know, we keep seeing Oracle Team USA improving. Have you been trying to make some improvements yourself?
Yeah, I think we have, and we were a lot faster yesterday. We've sort of gone back to the configuration today, you know, targeting the first race. Now we're knowing the breeze, as we targeted yesterday morning's race, breeze up a bit now, so we're probably in, you know, kind of a more light air configuration. So, but starboard advantage now, particularly as the ebb's starting to run, makes it real hard. Although in that race that got blown off yesterday, we had a blinder, but unfortunate really. But yeah, I mean, it's a more normal configuration now, but yesterday was definitely slightly different.
Grant, can you speak to the pressure at all that you and the boys are feeling, knowing that the entire nation of New Zealand is glued to their TVs right now, expecting you to bring home the cup?
Well, we try and hold it out a little bit. We know it's there. We know there's a nation watching this. But once you go into the start box, you don't really think of that anymore, and you just do your job as best you can.
Dalton, we'll let you get about your business. Appreciate your time.
No problem.
And just to reset the numbers as we get a look on board Oracle Team USA, this is day 10. This will be race 13. So the race 13 that we saw, just forget all about that. That never happened. It was abandoned. The time limit was reached as the Kiwis made the turn home for the America's Cup, and the whistle was blown. So again, this will be race 13, which also means that Emirates Team New Zealand will get port entry yet again.
I've kind of lost track of the port entry and starboard entry, to be honest. we just want to race. I think we just want to race, and I know the Kiwis want to race, that's for sure. I give them such high marks for keeping composure there. It would have been really, really easy just to get angry.
So we go under 5 minutes to go for the race 13, which was abandoned. Will we have enough wind to get it going? The most important thing is getting off that line, getting the start, and we'll see if Jimmy Spithill can once again play the hook.
Yeah.
As the boats enter the starting box, they begin the dance, which in many cases determines the outcome of the race. Skippers will use their instincts and the opponent if possible. The primary tactic is for the boat coming from behind, or the blue boat, to do what's called a hook. If the boat ahead or the yellow boat is early to the line or too far up the line towards the wind, the boat behind times a last-minute attack and tucks in close to leeward or downwind of the boat ahead. The attacking boat hooks the defensive boat and holds him into the wind until the defensive boat slows to a stop, all the while planning a quick getaway and a large lead at Mark 1. Knowing the game means understanding the rules, an integral part of sailboat racing at any level.
So the wind is picking up. In fact, it is holding at 11.5 knots and building, so we'll have a little more pace on the course today. Now, the big question is, we approach 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and Emirates Team New Zealand getting port entry. Do you play it differently this time if you're Dean Barker?
I don't know if you do. You just have to get across it. Nothing's really changed in the starting line, in the starting box. You got to get across and line yourself up, but it's so much harder to do time and distance, Todd, when it's this light. The acceleration, if you have a tiny puff, you could take off in a shot. If it's a lull, you could be really slow to accelerate. That's the hardest thing for these sailors to try to figure out.
1 minute. It's actually ebbing a bit here for the entry. Yeah, there's going to be plenty of pressure for the pre-start.
The problem Oracle Team USA has coming into the box is that once they bear off, they're going directly into the current, so it's going to actually be very hard to get the Emirates Team New Zealand.
See Winston McFarland still on the boat, so this is 2 races in a row for Winston, and Grant Dalton still off the boat.
Full pace, full pace.
13, 14 from it.
New Zealand looks early.
Kiwis are in at 2:04. So here we go. It's race number 13, day number 10. Moments after the Kiwis on their way to winning the America's Cup, the race was abandoned. The time limit was exceeded.
Stand by jive here, guys.
This is more of a traditional starting sequence that we've seen the whole series, not the super light air one we saw about an hour ago, but they both still have their code zeros furled up. They think it's going to be light enough for a non-foiling downwind leg. That's really the difference. If you can foil, no code zeros. If you can't foil, you throw them up there.
Right now, the wind is too strong to use those code zeros, Ken. I don't think we'll see them unless the wind goes down a little.
Here we go. Okay. Not killing much. He's probably under a bit then. Keep trimming, guys. Keep trimming.
With this ebb current, this should traditionally be helping out the position that Team New Zealand is in. They like that left hand, that left hand lane. Just a huge moment for Oracle. Can they shake off this morning's beating that they took?
New Zealand doing a very good job setting themselves up to be in a good position.
30, not a lot to kill to the boat. Trim on, trim. Are you killing 7 here? Yeah, that's going to kill.
Oracle going for a hook. I don't think Dean Barker falls for this one. He'll bear away, hopefully fast enough. If he's too slow here, he could get an overlap and he could be in trouble. Barely stays clear. By barely getting going, he's going to have total control of this start, Todd.
Solid pressure here. All clear, all clear.
So Jimmy Spithill goes for a hook at the start of race number 13, can't get it, and he puts Dean Barker and the Kiwis in prime position.
Gutsy move by Dean Barker, letting him close the gap so tightly, yet keeping just clear ahead. That allowed him to pull the trigger and to have a dominant start.
So the race for the America's Cup is on. New Zealand needing just one more victory, and the cup is theirs. The Americans need to win out to retain.
Gutsy, Ken, I would say brilliant.
At mark number 1, Emirates Team New Zealand has the lead. Can they make it stick? The wind is picking up to 12 knots now, peaking at 15, and the Americans just 3 seconds behind.
No code zeros.
And Ken, in the last race, I don't even think we were even halfway to mark number 1 at this point.
Exactly. Easily up on their foils, so that pretty much eliminates the code zeros for now. They'll keep them in the air just in case they get a light spot and need to use the sails to get out of it.
Really good pressure down this side.
Oracle Team USA doing a very good job sailing low here. That's helping them.
Yeah, but it's right down into the bad air of Emirates Team New Zealand, Gary. I think it's usually a temporary gain. They sail down into that wing wash and they can't make it stick.
You're exactly right. Big ball, Ken.
Nice game here, Dino.
Todd, we just don't really know which boat is better in this condition right now. You know, we talked earlier about Oracle making the huge improvements at the upper end, at the top end of the wind range. Is that going to be a big detriment to what they can do at the bottom end? How much should they change their boat overnight towards the lighter air configuration?
Well, we certainly learned the boats are pretty even going downwind. The big test is going to windward on leg 3.
This watch getting slow in the next lull. Good gains. Very nice here.
Good discipline by Dean Barker, not looking back at the other boat. I like what I see.
And the lead starts to grow for Emirates Team New Zealand on the right-hand side of your screen, up to 160 meters over the Americans.
And watching it getting soft in this corner too, but there's nothing special. Yeah, probably that. Possible to pull it a toy. Yeah, good pressure. Let's keep it down. This next little transition.
Let's go back and look at the start one more time. This is where Dean Barker really earning his money right here as we take a look at it on virtual reality.
Well, the guys talked on Oracle about actually just going for the pin end, or the right-hand end, the starboard end, actually. And they decided at the last second to bail out, probably too late. They went for this hook move too late. Barker just fends it off, keeps him in tight, doesn't get too close to the line, wins the start. Really well done by the Kiwis. Look at that, no overlap. If there was an overlap here, Todd, the whole thing changes and Oracle's ahead by a mile. But that 8 or 10 feet between the boats right there is all the difference need to be made by the Kiwis to actually dominate that start.
Virtual reality brought to you by Virtual Eye as the Americans trying to close the gap on Emirates Team New Zealand. The Kiwis just one win away from claiming the America's Cup and taking it away from Oracle Team USA.
It's all about staying in the pressure right now. This is where tacticians make their money. Ben Ainsley and Ray Davies, this is a battle amongst wits right now.
Yeah, well, 30 seconds to a jibe. Better stand by here, boys. Get the speed on. All the way, Jimmy. Good pressure here. 20 seconds. Stay with us. Good gain still.
How about the Americans? They were down by 150 meters, and here they are now leading by 15.
I think what you're seeing is again, kind of like we've seen this whole series, at least so far in this race, two pretty even boats that when you get a puff or, you know, get a little breeze in your favor, you gain. It's that simple. And here's a big cross. They might have a piece of these guys.
Oracle has the right of way on starboard as they come together.
Starboard! Starboard! Jesus, fuck's sake!
And I have a feeling we're going to have a protest.
Put it in the hands of the umpires. This is going to be very interesting.
Well, from my viewpoint, I didn't think it was a foul.
Boy, it was a bit of a Hollywood if it wasn't a foul by the Oracle guys. They sure tried to sell it. Let's see if they sold it properly.
Even still, they take the lead.
What do you think of the 0 after the turn?
Talking about setting that
Umpires taking a long time here, Gary. But you're right, Oracle has taken the lead no matter what.
After the turn. We'll do it after, Joe. Keep sailing fast. Go, Tommy, go really quick. Good pressure this way.
Well, this could be a game changer depending on what the umpires decide.
Well, not really, because right now they would just make Team New Zealand get behind anyway. So in essence, by losing the lead here, they've actually done their penalty already. But I've never seen the umpires take, well, there it is.
There it is.
Wow, so the Hollywood works for Oracle. You know, Gary and I both thought there was distance in between the boats, but man, they sold it well.
Instantaneously, the penalty is completed, so you called it right. So the Americans take the lead, they sell it, and the officials say New Zealand fouled the Americans. So it's the Americans now in the lead by more than 100 meters. Here it is again.
45 seconds.
That little, what the umpires determined was if Oracle hadn't changed direction here, they would have had a collision. So they listen. They have everything sorted out in that back room. Yeah,
It would have been close, Ken.
it would have been close. We'll have. This will be debated for a long time, but nonetheless, Oracle took the lead. Takes the pressure off the umpires here, to be honest, because Oracle was going to take the lead here no matter what.
Oracle almost lost a crew member who was crossing at this point. Didn't see it coming. Jimmy Spittle takes evasive action. Back to a live
You want to
shot.
make it big, yeah. You want to make it look close.
Can New Zealand get down to this gate, or are they going to have to jibe one more time? Here's another incredibly tactical situation in light air on 72-foot foiling catamarans.
One quick thing, the breeze is better to the right side of the course. That will favor New Zealand if they ever go get around the gate.
Hang on, jibing. Right turn, right turn, right turn. Now we're going to jibe back.
Right in front. The Americans pull it off right in front of the Kiwis at gate number 2.
And the Kiwis decide to jibe back and go for the other gate. They're going to be really slow here trying to pull this maneuver off. Really slow.
Big game. Nice and smooth.
2 jibes in close succession, big mistake.
And they can't get down low enough to the mark. They're not going to be gaining speed very, very soon.
Nice and smooth, guys.
Current's going right to left in this picture.
Holy smokes, what a turn of events. The cross and then Jimmy Spithill right in front of Dean Barker and Ray Davies, and it brings them almost to a complete halt, and there's the lead, 100 meters.
The difference again was just meters. If Emirates Team New Zealand could have soaked a little bit lower and made that left gate, it would have been a dead even split. But the fact that they had to do that last minute maneuver really slowed them down, put them behind here, going up leg number 3.
Look at it.
Well, let's take a look at one more time on virtual eye, and here it was, the Americans on the left, the Kiwis on the right.
The mark on the lower left-hand side is the mark that Oracle's going to be going after, because the other boat's inside, so they get into the zone, that 3-boat length zone. They have control of that left-hand mark. Instead of following them in, the Kiwis decide to do a last-minute jibe back again and get super slow. So, hey, very well done by Oracle. They use the 3-boat length circle that we can't see on the left-hand side of our screen, the lower left-hand side. They do a nice, fast maneuver around. Team New Zealand gets really slow, and Oracle breaks out to a nice little lead.
We're looking at live pictures now as the Americans have the lead, 260 meters and growing. So the Kiwis were one leg away from claiming the America's Cup, and Mother Nature shut it down. The time limit was exceeded. The race was abandoned, and here we are in the rerunning of race 13, and now the Americans are clearly in control.
Yeah, 30 seconds from here, underneath that one. Underneath the yacht line.
Yeah. Keep it going here, guys. Nice work. Really good lefting.
Falling out of it a little.
So the Americans with the lead. Gary Jobson, are they on the right course right now? Do you like where they're sitting?
20 seconds.
I do. I like the right side of the course where Oracle Team USA is. There's a little bit more breeze over there right now. And hey, a special note, we have about 29 minutes left in the time limit. There's going to be no problem with the time limit in this race.
Here we go.
Nice, Tommy.
They have learned how to tack this boat. And it's, I guess the question that people all around the docks here in San Francisco keep asking, what took them so long? The Kiwis really were showing this off during the whole Louis Vuitton series. Why didn't Oracle pick up on that earlier? It might have cost them a couple races early on in this series.
It's been a nice game. A bit of tack under this one.
Back on board with Emirates Team New Zealand. They are sitting on 8 wins, needing only one more to claim the 34th America's Cup.
3, 2, 1.
Let's not forget, it has been a couple days since the Kiwis have won a race. Remember, go back to day number 9, race number 12. Only one race was contested that day. The Americans won it, and fresh off the abandonment of race 13, so momentum clearly on the side of Oracle Team USA, but heartbreaking for the Kiwis of what they did in the first race today, which was abandoned, as they made the turn at Mark 4, and they just ran out of time.
But they're climbing back into this again. You know, do not count them out. They have shown calm and being calm and collected in the toughest of spots. But this is a tough spot, knowing that they had the cup in their hands after the race about an hour and a half ago.
One leg away.
Standing by. 2, 1.
Okay, think of going back in this pressure. Let's just see what it does.
I reckon just get it going.
Yeah, big lefty here. So going straight for a second. Just get her on the foil, I reckon. A little fast.
On board with the Cup defenders, Oracle Team USA. They trail right now 8 wins to 2. They need to win out. The Kiwis looking for just one more victory to take the Cup back to Auckland.
Look out there in the middle of the bay right now. Oracle's in a big left-hand shift. The breeze has gone left for both of these boats. It's a tough time to be a tactician, especially in boats that don't maneuver very well. You have to commit to areas of the race course sometimes that you don't necessarily want to be, but then be patient. Will their patience be rewarded?
Let's go back and take a look at a replay on virtual eye, and here's how the Americans got this lead, Kenny, as they split the course. The Kiwis forced into a bad situation.
Little left-hand shift in the upper left-hand corner of the race course. Oracle does a nice job getting across, but it was really all set up by that bottom mark. That bottom mark is where Team New Zealand had to over-maneuver. They had to try to create a split, and sure enough, it cost them valuable distance and the upper hand of this race. But it's not over, Todd. We've seen that too many times.
You think back to just a week ago, and leg number 3 was certainly the downfall of Oracle Team USA. They just could not figure out how to make their tacks quicker, and it didn't matter what lead they had after the first 2 legs. The Kiwis would just track them down. Not the case anymore.
Are you sure it was just a week ago?
Keep it going here.
It was a month ago, wasn't it? But I mean, Kiwis are reeling them in here a little bit. You know, this is hard. This is hard conditions. This light, spotty wind shifts.
The key for New Zealand right now is to keep it close so they have a chance at that leeward mark. By close, I would say 200 meters is the minimum that they need to be if they hope to have a chance of catching up.
Kathy?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, here we go.
I believe, Todd, today this is the only time we've seen passes downwind in this whole series, maybe the whole event for that matter. And it's the lighter air. It's the ability to jive and jump the other guy really quickly and get on top of his breeze.
No foiling, just he continues.
Okay, you're going to get real shifting now.
He may hit us, so.
New Zealand's got to be careful here not to stay on this course. If they do, when they attack, they're going to be slammed. They need to attack right away. Okay, happy to go first. I think we're set up here anyway, Dino. If he hits us, it's okay. We bounce back, yep.
Ray Davies talking there to Dean Barker, saying happy to set up here. If he hits us, we're good to go. Translate.
I think it's not a great time to attack, though, if you're New Zealand. They're in a big left shift out here right now. If you do attack, you're really going to be out of sequence with the wind. Yeah, you see they hold, and they've both been wound up considerably to the left, and they have to kind of hold this out for a minute, or they'd really be putting themselves in a tough spot.
Which is a big mistake by New Zealand, because if they attacked right away, they would have been further to the left and would have gained.
Better pressure.
Yeah, faster.
Okay.
Possibility of
Yeah, I have to go quicker here.
Okay.
At some point we've got to think about laying.
Yeah. Just keep going. We might get that bit right.
These guys can change modes so dramatically. You saw New Zealand actually up on their foils for a minute. They're just trying to accelerate out from underneath the bad air, the disturbed air, the wing wash of Oracle Team USA. They can use their speed to do that.
Oracle's not far from the ley line, Kenny.
And it looks like they're just going to hold it out, Gary, and just do one maneuver in and hopefully just gain by lack of tacking.
Yeah, the big mistake by New Zealand was not tacking immediately when Oracle tacked on their breeze. They really lost an opportunity.
Press inside you.
Just a little more
Don't try and foil here. Let's just keep it. Take the height.
Copy.
I think we'll lay if we take the height.
Copy.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm high moded.
Still high mode, Carl. Still high mode here.
Yeah, nice guys.
Higher if we can.
Definitely run the right hand back gate.
Look at that. The left-hand shift is so dramatic that it looks like they're going to lay the mark.
Really get sleep on you.
Boy, sometimes, Todd,
Nice and smooth, boys.
it's just your day. And this big wind shift right here is proof that today appears to be Oracle's day.
Won't be long with this left.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, 40 seconds.
Got 40 seconds.
Look for Oracle to jibe almost immediately after rounding and head straight down for the lure gate.
Exactly.
I think you can uncamp now. We'll get right hand out of it. Yeah. Should work nice. I don't reckon they'll lay. By the time they get here, it'll shift back.
Bottom of the screen, it's a little dark patch right there, Todd. That could be a right-hand shift. Oracle could get around in the nick of time, and Team New Zealand might actually get stuck in a right-hand shift out here as they approach.
At gate number 3, it's the Americans first to make the turn for home. They have stretched their lead out. This is well over 400 meters as the Kiwis now will try to track them down, knowing that the cut is so very close.
Keep working, boys. Nice job. Okay, 40 seconds. No panic. Happy to continue.
I think sailors around the world are just shaking their heads at how quickly fortunes have changed in this event.
Happy, go.
Remember, Dean Barker had the lead at gate number 1 by 3 seconds. A fantastic job by Jimmy Spithill down at gate number 2 and put them in a hole, and now they are starting to make it stretch up to 46 seconds. The Kiwis are behind the Americans. So the Americans head off for mark number 4. Dean Barker and Emirates Team New Zealand try and track them down.
Okay, pressure will go down from here.
He's jogging, so no problem.
I'll tell you what a difference a race makes, Gary Jobson. 45 minutes ago, we were talking about New Zealand winning this thing, and then the time limit snuck in.
You know, we were just by Oracle Team USA. They came right by regardless here just moments ago, and that crew looked pretty darn happy. They've got the momentum, and that's going to carry forward in the next couple days.
Nice pressure from now. Nice pressure from now. Really good.
Wind running perfect right now, 14 knots, peaking at 16.2, and the Oracle Team USA outfit looks very good.
Yeah, I wouldn't count it out. Yeah, good call. Let's get ahead of it. I think it's good, Rachel.
The lead is more than 600 meters, the second to last leg here on day number 10, race 13, and the Americans are in firm control, with the Kiwis needing just one more win to take away the America's Cup. Jimmy Spithill and company are saying not so fast.
Big wind shift on this leg. Essentially, they've jibed, and they're actually both below the mark right now. They're both sailing well below the mark. They'll start reaching up to it. Really an impossible scenario for Emirates Team New Zealand at this stage. There's no passing lanes. If you're just heading straight at the other mark, it's flat out boat speed contest, and we've proven that both of these boats can reach pretty quick.
Two big mistakes by Emirates Team New Zealand. On that leg 3 going downwind, they allowed Oracle Team USA to get on their breeze. That slowed them down. The foul, another mistake. And then upwind, they had one chance to get to the left. They stayed in the bad wind at Oracle, and it's in this position now.
And Gary, in all your experience around the America's Cup, have you ever seen a team on the last leg of what would be the winning race and have it canceled because time limit, only to come back in the next race and absolutely just get worked on the water?
Well, the only race that's analogous to this in the America's Cup is race 7 in 1983. Dennis Conner leading at the 4th of 6 legs and ended up being passed on the 5th leg, and Australia 2 passed him and won the America's Cup.
I think we'll be fine. More pressure than last time.
Well, if this lead holds up for Oracle Team USA, they will now need just 6 wins to win and keep the America's Cup, and the Kiwis still just needed that one precious victory.
But these guys standing up, they're talking about every scenario that could possibly go wrong. And they have time because they're just reaching down the course. What if the breeze goes light? What if we need a code 0? What if we need this? That's really smart. They're going through every possible scenario and what their solution would actually be.
Beat to the finish, good call.
And they just said beat to the finish. This breeze has gone so far to the left that for the first time in this event, they may be hard on the wind going in towards America's Cup Park.
Well, anything that makes the course longer is good for New Zealand.
What about, like, if we dive and have to hoist it, do it to leeward or? Real soft up here, Jimmy.
Sure looks light, dead up ahead of them there.
We can nearly set it up on the other side. You know? It's probably after a minute, there's no way we'll hoist it on this job. Okay. You know, nah. Nice pressure coming in 30 seconds. Nice mode here.
Creating every scenario in your mind, not just as an individual, but you have to do it as a team here, Todd, because if you're not on the same page with the rest of the people who are grinding these sails up and down, back and forth, foils, everything else, you're going to fail. So you need your help from your buddies, and that's what they're trying to do as a team right now. Code 0 going up on Team New Zealand.
So the Americans have the lead, and they can see Mark 4 in the distance. Can they round it cleanly and get the win? We'll find out. Wind actually dying down just a little bit as the Americans make their way towards mark number 4. 12 knots is what we're reading on a constant, peaking at 14.3.
The big thing will be if they come off the foils. That's when the zeros will come out if they come off the foils. Doesn't look like they're off the foils right there, Todd.
Well done, Joey.
Okay, Jimmy.
Happy. Go button, Tommy. Go forward, Simeon. Got a little header, Tommy. Okay.
No problem on pin at the moment. Roll up.
You go straight over, Tommy.
30 seconds. 20 seconds on the ball.
The Americans executing a beautiful jibe foil, still have the lead. Mark number 4 just at the bottom of your screen. They'll make a right-hand turn and head for home, and if all things hold together, the Americans will pick up another victory, and it'll take their needed wins down to 6, with the Kiwis still just needing that one win to take the cup away.
Straighten the twist when you, camber when you can, right?
No problem, guys.
2 beautiful jibes by Oracle Team USA. They've come so far with their maneuvering and their boat handling. Very, very well done as they come into that last gate.
Let's keep it high out of this.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy's right. We want to just hot out of this guy.
Yeah, protect the high side.
Mark number 4, the Americans first to it, and now they head for home.
Good pressure, looks good pressure all the way in. Don't think we'll have an issue.
20 seconds. 10.
So the lead for the Americans is growing to in excess of 30 seconds, and now they are close to getting to the finish and getting the win. And for Emirates Team New Zealand, Kenny, this has got to be a day of what could have been. They were in this exact same position right about here when the race came to termination point earlier today. It was waved off. They were clearly over 1,000 meters ahead of the Americans, and just not enough time.
I think we're too close to the sailors in this case. We feel their frustration, and we're thinking, oh, they just want it to end. But I know for a fact, talking to my friends back at home in Newport tomorrow, every bar full in Newport is full right now of people hoping this thing keeps going for a long, long time, because this is exciting stuff. And really, this is sailing like sailing has never seen before.
Nice little stick. More stainless soft to get you to the line. You know what I mean?
Ken, the scene is exactly the same in Annapolis, Maryland.
So around the USA, let the celebration begin. The America's Cup will continue on for at least one more day. Oracle Team USA have come through with a victory in race number 13.
Todd's just an astounding day. A remarkable day. It's speechless. These guys have 9 lives. No wonder they're sailing a cat.
Stress levels.
Nice one, that guy.
And the final delta continues to grow. Congratulations all the way around. The Americans were 1 leg away from losing this. And Kenny, if we do a little quick math, you're probably talking about in that first race we saw today, what, the Kiwis needed maybe another 4 minutes?
I'd say 4 minutes at the very most.
So 4 minutes away from losing the America's Cup. The race is terminated because of the time limit of 40 minutes. They reset. The Kiwis get the better start as race 13 was started again, but it was the Americans that took it over, and at gate number 2, they make it stretch on leg 3, and they're able to extend this regatta for yet another day. We will see a day 11.
We're gonna find a lot out about Kiwi resolve at this stage. We've talked about pressure, we've talked about momentum change, but this is like nothing we've ever seen, nothing I've ever seen in the sport of sailing.
So the Kiwis come across the line 1 minute and 24 seconds behind Oracle, but the damage has been done. First by Mother Nature, and then by Jimmy Spithill. The crowds are big today. They will be even larger tomorrow, Saturday, here in San Francisco as the September Showdown continues. We now go on board the Defenders, Oracle Team USA, and their helmsman, Jimmy Spithill. Jimmy, Ken Reed says you guys must have 9 lives. That was amazing. What a turn of events.
Yeah, what a fantastic race. It's really been a really tough day, and Benny and Tommy did a great job in that second race. Benny made a great call at the bottom gate, and that was the end of the race there. Really good job there to coming in, and I thought a great bounce back from the guys too. You know, we learned a lot in the first race and applied it to the second race.
Jimmy, that first race, I mean, talk about a turn of events. You guys, you were trying to hold your smiles off at the end of that first race. I'm not sure you did such a good job, though. What a relief, huh?
Oh, man, I mean, look, what can you do? I mean, you just, you know, sometimes a couple of things go your way, and look, we've got to take it. You know, we're in the position, we've got to take those things. But what a fantastic second race by the guys. Really stamped it strong.
Well, Jimmy, I know you got a lot of work to do. You boys can go out and celebrate this for a few moments, and then we will see you back here tomorrow for day 11.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Jimmy Spithill and his crew will head back to the dock, and they will see what they can do better tomorrow. But, wow, they got a little help from everyone today. Mother Nature, the wind. They certainly had Lady Luck on their side. Meanwhile, Dean Barker and Emirates Team New Zealand look to be poised to take the cup. And, Dean, you've been around sailing long enough to know that sometimes you just don't get the wind when you need it.
Well, yeah, very frustrating day, to be honest. You know, I think we sailed a pretty solid first race. You know, it's disappointing to, you know, to be that close, but so far away. And, you know, we know that we're sailing well enough. That one we just, you know, it just came down to a few metres right at the bottom, and unfortunately that was just the difference, you know, and yeah, very frustrating.
Dino, I think the whole sailing world is frustrated for you. That, just talk about a struggle of a day. Hard to come back. I mean, did you feel any sort of momentum swing after you guys didn't finish that first race amongst the crew, or it was just the way fate had it?
Oh, not at all. No, it's just, you know, it's just fate. Sometimes it's just not meant to be. And you know, the guys got straight back into it. We had a good start. We did a good job of the first half of the run, and then just gave them an opening. And yeah, a little bit frustrating, to be honest, that we yeah, didn't get around the bottom and front.
Dean, as you get back to dock, what will be the message to the rest of the crew tonight?
Well, look, the guys are very positive. You know, we know that we can win this thing. We just have to put it all together on the day. And you know, it's tough conditions. It's you know, it's about as tricky as the bay has been since we've been here anyway. And you know, you got sort of 50-degree shifts, you know, on one beat. It's not going to be straightforward. And you know, it was hard. They got a good little jump after the mistake that we made at the bottom. You know, we made a little inroad, but it was never going to be enough.
Dean, as always, we appreciate your time on a very frustrating day. We will see you back here on the water tomorrow.
Yeah, well, thanks, guys.
Here in San Francisco as we take you on board Oracle Team USA. We've got them covered both visually and audio, and we will have all that for you throughout the exciting racing. Now remember, the Americans have port entry today, and the Kiwis will be on starboard entry, so the Americans get in 10 seconds early. They kind of can force the issue, Ken, if they want to.
They get to pick and choose the time that they want to head back with that 10-second entry. But we think the current might negate that a little bit today. This could be a different look than we've seen in almost a week, Todd.
Oh, yeah, about
Killing 5 on the box.
oh, yeah, about 18 from it.
Just get a little closer to it.
Well, with its flood tide, you would think that the windward end would be better. But the leeward end of the line, to my eye, looks a little closer by about 2 boat lengths to the first turning mark. So it's a toss-up which end of the line's better.
And at 2:10, the defenders of the cup make their move.
Todd, you saw them slow down right at the last second. They were dangerously close. They thought they might actually be a little bit early there, and actually slowed the boat down right at the last second. Doesn't look like it's really made a difference, though.
Have a good one, bro.
Miles ahead of him here.
Day 12, race 14 is on. Oracle Team USA must win out to keep this regatta going. One more loss and the cup will go to the Kiwis.
We were talking about how loose these guys are on Oracle. You heard the last comment from Slingsby as they entered. Have a good one, bro. There doesn't seem to be a lot of pressure with these guys.
Where is he on ley line? He's supposed to be on.
5 seconds, yeah, 5 seconds
Coming up
to the
and
boat.
attacking in 3.
See, there you saw attack instead of a jibe. Already a different strategy. These guys are trying to stay up current a little bit towards the bridge.
Place here, boys.
Killing 30 to the line. The slow build there. 55. He's on our line. He's clear. He's on the wind here.
Oracle's dangerously close to the line here. They got a lot of time to kill. New Zealand's in a great position.
They just said they got 30 to kill to the line. That's a lot of time.
Moving up hard now. Pick them up. Right this way.
Gapping off by Team New Zealand. That means they're trying to get up to the weather end. But have they pulled their hand? Have they shown their hand too early? This is going to be a time and distance start, Todd.
I like New Zealand's position here.
10 seconds to the line. The all clear is sounded. Day 12, race 14 is on.
Working on gauge here.
This lighter breeze, I think it's going to allow Oracle to escape out from underneath. It's the same thing again. It's a windward leeward. Oracle is in the favored leeward position. The other boat has to stay out of the way. They're going to avoid the mark again. This is just typical strategy for match racing.
So in fact, what they're doing, folks, if I'm correct, Kenny, is the Americans are just pushing the Kiwis as far off course as they can.
They try to get them slow and then try to extend and gain as much as they possibly can here. Remember, the boundary is going to come into play fairly shortly.
Got to set up here, guys. Drive, guys. Going straight forward. Set up there. Hold it. 3. Not yet. 2. I'm on the boundary, Gal. 1. Go forward.
Driving.
Simultaneous jibe. Who can do it better?
And Oracle needs a leeward boat. New Zealand needs to get an overlap at the mark.
I think actually New Zealand slowed down in that jibe on purpose as to not get an overlap and make sure that they weren't committed to weather of Oracle, who was the right-of-way boat in that position. They do have to get down to this mark, obviously. They have to leave the mark to their right side.
Sail up, mate. Sail up.
I got right.
So the lead at mark number 1 is 6 seconds to Oracle Team USA. The Kiwis just off their left-hand side, and now the tactics begin.
Pretty soft.
See the numbers there. Oracle Team USA 3 knots faster than the Kiwis.
They could just be sailing again. The puffs that they go into, it's not like traditional sailing where the puffs come from behind the boat. The puffs they're actually sailing into are dead in front of the boat. So very often the boat ahead has the advantage just in sailing into better breeze.
So the second jibe comes here on race number 14. And again, the Americans have a lead of over 125 meters as we check in on the water with Gary Jobson.
Well, Todd, looking at the wind on the water here, it gets a lot lighter because they get closer to the gate. So staying in a good pressure, more wind, is really going to be a premium. You want to jibe when you're in the stronger wind, not when it's light.
And Gary, on the course, as we look down from the helicopter shot, where is the sweet spot on this course? Is it left, right, or center?
Well, right now, I like the center of the course. There's more wind. When you get to either side, the wind gets lighter. And boy, is Oracle sailing fast. They're gaining like crazy.
Better pressure this way, I think. Really nice mode. Keep it fast, Paul. It's getting a little slow.
Give you a look at virtual eye animation and just show them what it is. And Kenny, the big three letters that everyone talks about in this race is VMG.
That's right, it's VMG. Those yellow lines, that's how fast you're getting towards the mark. It's a combination of your forward speed dead ahead and the angle from the breeze you are. So right now, obviously pretty close, but Oracle has had a slight edge like Gary reported earlier.
VMG, or velocity made good, as the Kiwis jibe yet again.
That graphic looks like a page out of my physics book in high school.
Pressure is down, man. Pressure's down.
In those first couple jibes, Todd, and we have so rarely said this in this entire event, Oracle out-jibed the Kiwis in those first two jibes and gained a little bit on both. And we just always have seen the Kiwis have better jibes than everybody else. It shows how far along these guys have come since the beginning of this series and their maneuvering problems.
You've got pressure coming, so you're in a good mode, but just watch it if it gets lighter that we don't force the fly, okay? Okay, good mode here. This pressure's right there, but yeah, we're going to get there.
And when you listen to Ben Ainsley, the tactician for Oracle, and he says good mode there, is he just talking about he likes the wind that he's getting in this position?
No, that's the VMG number that we're talking about. Good mode means your angle from the wind compared to your boat speed forward. It's that combination, that VMG number, that's what he's calling just mode, good mode.
And again, your VMG is your velocity made good. And right now, Ben Ainsley, the four-time Olympic champion, likes the way the defenders, Oracle Team USA, are sitting.
3, 2, 1, diving.
Really classic match racing going on here right now for Oracle, Gary. They're just staying between the man and the mark, and they're not letting them out of their sights.
I love the way Oracle Team USA has improved their driving here over the last week and right out of the textbook. Stay between your competitor and a mark. A mistake both of these boats have made in previous races. They're not making that mistake now.
And Gary, what do you think about gate selection? What side do you think the Americans are going to go for?
Well, Ben Ainsley and Oracle Team USA has got the choice, left gate or right gate. I have to think he wants the left gate to work that cone underneath Alcatraz Island. There's less current over there, and that would be the best place to be.
No problem with the time taking us down to the lane line. Yeah. I think, well, boy, really good, guys. They're going to have to set up there. Yeah. There they go. We've got 30 seconds. Make sure we get the immersion here. 25.
So the Americans going about their business as they have grown the lead to more than 274 meters, dropping just minutely right there as we transition back to the Kiwis. Remember, they just need one more victory and the America's Cup is theirs. And again, they just aren't getting the pressure. They just aren't getting the speed that we're known to seeing them have on the downward leg.
Yeah, this is nervous moments for all Kiwi fans all the way around the world. This is clearly nervous moments. Oracle's sailing away here right now, and it's always been thought in kind of this medium breeze that this was a breeze that New Zealand possibly had an advantage in. Doesn't show. That's not showing up right now on this leg, Todd.
So there's the situation right now. The Americans have a 300-meter lead. And we look at Jimmy Spithill in the center of your screen right there. He is the helmsman.
Yeah, just to give us the maximum.
Now, this is a condition where you could see a full split at this mark. There's two ways of doing this on the tidal change. With the incoming tide, it's actually sweeping out of the bay along the shoreline. You could see Oracle go for the cone, like Gary just said, and Team New Zealand actually could split all the way to the shoreline right away. We could see the biggest split we've seen in this entire event so far.
At mark number 2, it's Oracle Team USA. Their lead 300 meters, and they will make their way for the cone behind Alcatraz Island. The Americans' lead at gate number 1 was 6 seconds. It has more than doubled here on leg number 2.
Just heard Ben Ainsley say, keep going straight here all the way to the boundary. So I guarantee you they had a playbook committed before this race started. If we're ahead, we're going for the cone.
Their lead has been quadrupled from 6 to 24 seconds. The Kiwis will head towards the shore, and the Americans will look for relief in the cone behind Alcatraz Island.
Nice take, boys. We're right on this.
So the Americans on leg number 3 of 5, nursing a 300-meter lead. How much relief will they see, Gary, off the back of Alcatraz Island with the tide?
Well, not only get some relief of about a knot and a half, Todd, but they actually could get a little counter current sweeping up toward the windward mark, and that'll help them gain a little bit more. New Zealand, on the other hand, has done the right move, heading for the same spot, but I don't know if they're going to have the speed to catch up.
Yeah, so they determined, Todd, that ebb current, or the current flowing out of the bay up along the city front, is not enough yet, so they decide to keep it close, and they're playing the cone, that tidal relief behind Alcatraz, just like the Americans did.
20 seconds here. Stand by, guys. Stand by. Press for you.
So there's the scene on the San Francisco Bay. Alcatraz Island off to their right. The Americans' 300-meter lead over the Kiwis. The lead is just over 270 meters for Team USA, the defenders of the Cup. The Kiwis trying to close it in, and there is Alcatraz Island. Ken, for the folks that don't know about the cone, the only thing I know about Alcatraz Island is somewhere you don't want to go. But for the sailors today, this is definitely somewhere they're heading towards.
Yeah, so we talked earlier about either the relief, the tidal relief under Alcatraz, or potentially the tidal relief all the way on the San Francisco shoreline. Both of these boats determined that it's not early enough in the ebb or the change, so they've both elected to go up behind Alcatraz Island and try to stay out of the current that way. Hey, for Americans right now, it's an easy choice. Just stick with your competitor and hopefully stay between them and the mark.
Yeah, we just have to get past this line. Pretty much on boundary.
Man, close to the boundary right there, Todd. That was kind of almost like the boundary snuck up on them, and they did a bit of a crash tack there. That was not their best tack, but nonetheless, still a nice little lead.
Folks have found a spot all along the waterfront here in San Francisco. People have made their way out to Alcatraz, and look at our good friends out at America's Cup Park. That is some prime real estate with the Coit Tower behind them. They are watching on, as is the rest of the world. This is the 34th America's Cup.
Up when can't, Simeon. Nice and low, boys, if you're not doing anything.
Hit the pressure, give me real high front lock. Okay.
Copy. That could just be the wind angle, could be wrong.
Every day, Jimmy Spithill comes out and says, you know, we almost relish the opportunity to be the spoilers here, because everyone expected 4 or 5 days ago for the Kiwis to pick up one win, Kenny, and take the cup back to Auckland. And you're starting to see what Jimmy Spithill's talking about. The boys are really rising to the occasion.
So you're believing that they really...
Starting to drink the Kool-Aid a bit.
I'm still not I don't think they love the situation they're in, but they are rising to the occasion. The start was just exactly, that's right out of the textbook. The start is exactly what they needed. Give them a jump, and their boat is fast now. It still goes back. It's amazing to me that they were so far off the pace at the beginning of this series, and how quickly they've gotten up to a point where they're even or faster.
Well, it's one thing to go out there in front of the media at the end of the day and say, we believe that we can still win. We think we're going to win. We think we're faster. It's another thing to do it. And Jimmy Spithill and his crew have certainly gone out there and done it. They have backed up the words that their skipper has said at the podium, and here they are leading on leg 3 of 5, which would be a clincher for that man, Dean Barker and his crew. They just cannot track down the Americans right now, so it looks like at this point we will see a second race of the day, and I won't say who mentioned that, but one Ken Reed guaranteed it. The distance has come down now to below 200 meters, and that is Ray Davies.
There is no quit in any of these guys, that's for sure. So they'll shake it off. And the race isn't over, Todd. Don't get me wrong here.
And how about this? What was a 300-meter lead now comes down to 140 meters. And Gary, why the big drop for the Americans?
Well, what's happening here, Todd, is the wind is actually getting lighter at the top of the course, and so they're going slower. More wind at the bottom, that's what New Zealand has. But boy, is that current ripping out here, and that's going to be a big factor on the final approach for Windward Mark. Ripping, what I mean, flooding coming into the bay.
Boy, that was a big change there, wasn't it? I think it just got light for the guys ahead along that shore, and they really came back into them in a big way, the Kiwis did.
And Kenny, as I look up the course on the left side of the screen there, right in under the Presidio along the city front, there's a little bit of a left shift. In other words, the wind is better over on the shore and the current's less. New Zealand could take advantage of it.
Yeah, I agree.
There's some real nice gains at the end here. Encourage bringing attacks up here. Got good pressure right at the end.
Here we go. Come on. Okay, boys, here we go. Turning.
Good move by Oracle to cover. Right thing to do.
Still not a lot of panic in these guys, but the lead is shrinking here. A lot of it has to do with the boat ahead also, Todd. They leave the cone behind Alcatraz and they have to sail out onto the conveyor belt. It's going the wrong way. So the boat ahead inherently loses a bit of a lead, but this has gotten a lot tighter than those guys on Oracle ever thought it would. I can guarantee you that. This next cross is not very far. Wow, what a comeback by Emirates Team New Zealand.
And here come the Kiwis. They were down by more than 300 meters, and here they are, right behind the Americans.
Here we go again. Hold on, folks. Welcome to the Modern America's Cup.
Now keep in mind that now New Zealand's going back out into the middle, where Oracle lost, and Oracle's going to have a left. So a chance for the Americans to make up ground.
But they don't have starboard tack advantage if they do come back close. Team New Zealand will have starboard tack advantage.
Come on, there we go.
If I'm New Zealand, I want to tack really early and not wait a long time. The reason they don't want to go out into the flood.
Standing by.
Wow, what a slow tack by New Zealand.
Gary, we could really see in these helicopter shots a very distinct current line out there, right smack between the two boats right now.
Right, the current's worse on the right, Ken, than the left as we look at it from the air.
Correct. There's a nice little game back by the guy to the left. You wonder if they're going to tack before this current line, Todd.
That'd be two tacks in quick succession. Very tough to do that. They can lose more. Look for Oracle to tack in 2 to 3 boat lengths.
Yeah. I agree, it's good. Yeah, it's great with that. Got a high mode in general, Colin.
Tide and wind pressure, and right now both boats are basically walking on an escalator the wrong way, and they are trying to get as much pressure as possible. As Gary has pointed out and Ken Reed, it looks like the left side of the course has more favorable winds, and so that is why both boats are hugging the shore front.
It's such a fine line with these boats because they do maneuver, even though we keep saying how much better they've gotten at tacking. Catamarans are notoriously really bad tacking boats. So you try to minimize as many maneuvers as you can while staying on the proper side of the conveyor belt here. Tough for both boats at this stage.
Very different shaped jibs here right now, Kenny. You look at the New Zealand boat, it's a very high aspect sail. In contrast, Oracle's got a very low aspect sail. You think, I'm just wondering, because you're the sailmaker, having that higher jib, is it helpful to the New Zealanders?
Well, it does look to be just a little bit bigger sail. You know, a lot of times these sails, they help the wing itself just create flow over the backside of the wing. You wonder if the small bit of overlap that Oracle has makes up for the fact that it's smaller jib in general. I'm surprised these guys did go back and left earlier, Gary, but it seems like they're in kind of a high slow mode to get up in front of New Zealand.
Yeah, I like the course that the USA is sailing. High, slow, just close it up, take away any passing line. Good move by Oracle.
He's gone soft at this stage. It'll be a little dip if he tacks, okay? And then we'll set up just past him. So if he tacks, it's a definite dip.
That's That's a hand-bearing compass Ray Davies is using there to take bearings on the other boat.
Ray's talking about a dip, Todd, between the two boats. If Oracle tacked, they would actually have to dip them. Oracle would be on starboard, Team New Zealand on port. But what I like about Team New Zealand here right now, they're inside the current line as they're going up here. This whole way up, big left-hand shift. They're almost heading towards the mark, but they're still inside the current line.
No problem, so we just keep it in a holding pattern.
Let's go on board Oracle Team USA and listen in.
We get to ley line a minute. I think we've got to speed up a bit. Sorry, I think we've got to speed up a bit. They're really coming at us.
Again, Todd, they're talking about the modes between the boats. They're really coming at us. That means the other boat's lower and faster. These guys are high and slow, just trying to get up in front of them.
Yeah, nice mode here. Nice mode.
New wind filling into windward. That'll help Oracle Team USA get the wind first.
Right behind them at this.
Right now, I think they're just going for the least possible maneuvers they can do. Oracle will probably just do one tacking in, and New Zealand will follow them through. Like Ray Davies just said, we'll be really close.
The other day, you know. Looks like it's real soft for him if he goes all the way.
Both boats, VMGs. Oracle's a little higher, a little closer to the wind, slightly slower. So again, that higher, slower mode, they're trying to tactically get up in front of Emirates Team New Zealand.
Up ahead, I see the wind turning to the right. That'll help Oracle. They're going to attack with a favorable wind shift.
Anytime. There we go, guys. 3, 2, 1. Here we go, attacking.
That's good inside, that's good. Pulling on the wind here. He is not laying left.
Keeping it going here.
That was the voice of Ray Davies. He is not laying left. Very interesting call here by these guys on Oracle. They're going to do 2 tacks into the gate and take the downwind mark that brings them offshore first. Team New Zealand will likely just do 1 tack coming up here, and they'll head towards the shore. I'm guessing a split again.
Ley line you, don't go too thin. Right in
Well, the right mark has certainly paid in the last few races, but with that wind coming off the shore, it might be a little bit better. New Zealand's got a chance.
Okay, pretty happy. Wind. Heading by. 3.
Get it going on the foil here. Should be good.
Will the strategy pay off for Oracle Team USA? They throw in 1 extra tack, and now they are inside the gate, gate number 3. 2 more legs to go, and the Americans will have a victory, but the Kiwis are coming fast.
Go, good, mate. Wing on, wing on, wing on. Go wing, go wing. Set up to drive. Stand by. Go wing, boys. Anytime here. Okay, go bottom. Go board, Sirin.
Todd, I'm nervous, and I'm not. But I mean, the Kiwis. This is just the Kiwi mentality. They just don't ever quit.
New Zealand has chopped 9 seconds off what was a 24-second lead at gate number 2. It now stands at 15 seconds. And did they make the right call? Everyone here is watching, cheering on the Kiwis, cheering on the Americans.
New Zealand needs a jibe soon. They got to get this in the center and get some maneuvers going if they want to pass.
Gutsy call by Oracle at that top mark to throw in that extra tack. Not only they gave up starboard tack there as well, but they were really committed to wanting to go offshore first, and it looks like it's paid off. It's gone from a small lead to a reasonably big lead in a short period of time because of that second tack. Great call by Ainsley.
So the lead is back up to 300 meters for the Americans. They rolled the dice and it came up Yahtzee. Will it pay off with 2 more legs?
We've only got 50 the other way. This pressure's starting to rip. There's another one.
And this has got to be disheartening for the Kiwis, because this is what the Americans look like getting on leg number 2 going downwind. They just sped away.
That extra tack, I can't underestimate how much that was a big call by those guys, by the guys on Oracle, to do the extra tack at the top mark. Just gave them, it launched them. It went from a small lead to a launch by actually doing an extra maneuver. Kind of rare in the catamaran sailing that we've seen for a while now.
3, 2, 1, driving. Good left hand. Yep.
San Francisco Bay is the setting for the 34th America's Cup. Oracle Team USA, the defenders, need to win out 6 more races and the Cup will stay in the States. If they have one misstep and give one victory to the Kiwis, the Cup is heading down under.
Boy, Oracle just had a really slow tack, and all of a sudden we're calling this race over, and it's launched to, they closed right up to 100 meters again. Really slow tack. Gary, it must be very puffy down on the water.
Very puffy and very light along the shoreline. Still, I like what Oracle's doing, just jiving between them. This is where New Zealand's going to jive right now to get to the left. They gained on the left, they got to get back over there.
Oh, I don't know about this. That's a lot of maneuvering out there right now. They're struggling to get up on their foils. That's how slow, that's how light of air it is. They are right back next to them again. That was, I'm not so sure about that last maneuver, Todd, by Oracle Team USA.
Well, jiving to stay in front was good, Ken, but they did it early. They needed to go 4 lengths and stay between them and the mark, not straight ahead of them.
Really light air out there right now.
And just a matter of minutes, Ken, we were talking about 300 meters. It has now dropped down to below 100, and once again, the Americans have found their pace.
It's one
but New Zealand is in very light, sorry guys, New Zealand's in very light wind now. They too got to maneuver and get back to the right.
Big one. 20.
I can only imagine what the pulse rate of your average New Zealand resident is doing over the last 5 minutes. From 300 to 30, back to 300.
It's really puffy, and it's who gets up on their foils right now. It's so light. I think if they were sailing normally and they were set up for it, they might even have code zeros up right now. It's so light because they're struggling to get up on their foils, and whoever does makes huge gains into the other guy.
This is leg 4 of 5. This is race number 14 on day 12. The Kiwis looking for just one lone victory to take the cup.
He's coming back again.
Disaster for Emirates Team New Zealand. Wind just almost stopped.
My goodness, look at the difference. Just too light to foil, Todd. The difference, and all of a sudden Oracle's gone. You can't make this stuff up.
You look at the speeds. The Americans sitting at 24. Now the Kiwis getting up over 20, but for the longest time they were holding at 14 knots.
You happy with this, or you want me to put it in?
Look at that. They had, when Team New Zealand up top, right by where their number is, right by where their boat speed, there's where the 2 jibes happen. And New Zealand didn't even go down. They almost went backwards on the race course. They went up just dead across the race course, just never got any wind, never got up on the foils. I know I've said this about a dozen times this race. It kind of looks like game over, but I'm not so sure it's ever game over in this stuff.
And Gary, what's been the difference today? Is this a tactician's duel?
Well, it certainly is a tactician's duel, and Ben Ainsley's winning that tactic duel. But I go back to the start. Oracle Team USA, by my count, at least 6, maybe 7 time runs, practice starts. I didn't see New Zealand do any. They lost the start, and that was where it set the pace. You got to practice before you race these boats, and they didn't do much practice at all on New Zealand.
Well, let's take a look at virtual eye and the dog leg that the Kiwis had put in the red. Look at that in the middle.
Yeah, in the middle, they took that left-hand turn. It's the red line, took a left-hand turn, and in essence didn't go anywhere down the race course for about 2 minutes there. All the while, Oracle Team USA is just boogieing down the city front, and off they go into a nice little lead. But listen, this is nothing is over out here right now. It's who can get up on their foils. It's that light air that doesn't allow you to easily get up on your foils. Here's New Zealand ripping right into them again.
Speed for the...
By the way, there's 11 minutes left in the time limit to get to the finish line. 11 minutes.
Yeah. Looks pretty soft out of this. Yep, I'm happy to go. We've got to mix it up a click here. Happy to go here. 20 seconds.
God, it was just 800-meter difference, and all of a sudden they're right back in the game again.
Stand by. Stand by, lads.
This last jibe, and who gets a puff into the mark could be the race. It's that crazy out there. Catamaran racing at its best. The maneuvers just kill you in this lighter air.
Real light. Okay, Joe. Big ease. Keep higher. Happy to keep it. Go for it. Go big one. Big one here, guys. Keep going. Coming down with pressure.
Well, definitely the right side of the courses are heading downwind. Seems like it is almost no man's land, because when you head over there, the wind seems to go away, and now the Americans are heading back into the center of the course, nursing this 260-meter lead over Emirates Team New Zealand.
Well, for American fans, just seeing the boat up on its foils right there is a huge sense of relief. It's just a minefield of puffs, of wind puffs out there, coming and going from good spots to bad spots. We've seen as dramatic lead change or lead differences, you know, expansion and contraction of the lead as we've seen during this entire series.
40 and 40.
BMG's both reasonably similar right now. Maybe Oracle a slight edge towards the mark. It's that yellow, the yellow line towards the mark. The yellow arrow is actually the speed towards the mark. Takes into your speed forward, your angle away from the wind. That's your BMG.
Oracle has 9 minutes to reach the finish line on the time limit.
Gary Jobs is referring to is the 40-minute time limit, and it was just 2 days ago that the Kiwis were on the last leg, and the 40-minute time limit expired. They were that close to winning the Cup, Ken, and the officials blew the race dead.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that this 40-minute time limit is just simply too short. And here they are. They've both been zipping around the racetrack pretty reasonably. Yeah, they've had some light air patches and light air moments, but just the fact that they're close to the time limit just simply says to me the time limit is too short. I don't think this race is ever over, though. Look at it. Here comes New Zealand going only 8 knots faster than Oracle right now. Big jibe. Can they get the thing up on foils again and get going and get around this mark?
Hey guys, we'll get it up. Yeah, we should get it foiling in this pressure. Big one on here. We'll get it up here. Lane line's the only thing. No problem, lane line. Good pressure. No problem, guys. Go wing. Go wing. Big one here, guys. Standing by. Guys, on it. 3, 2, 1, Squadron.
And that's exactly what Oracle Team USA does. Up on the foils and now flying in excess of 34 knots.
Boy, this is unbelievably huge for Oracle. Fending that off, dealing with the pressures. Every moment of that race was a terrifying experience for Ben Ainsley, I can tell you that.
The lead was 6 seconds at mark number 1, 24 seconds at mark number 2, down to 15 seconds at mark number 3. And it looks like the Americans have done enough here on this 4th leg to put the Kiwis in a bad spot, as their lead has now gone up over 20 seconds even, to be exact.
Todd, that's why you have a 4-time Olympic gold medalist as your tactician. Just clearly cool under pressure, dealt with the situation. I mean, it is terrifying being in those shoes at times when you see the other guy reeling you in like Emirates Team New Zealand was doing it a few times during that race.
36-year-old Sir Ben Ainslie, a 4-time Olympic gold medalist, also has a silver in his collection. Normally a helmsman, but he was brought on board to make some changes and mix things up when Oracle Team USA was in a world of hurt, unable to get wins, and it looked like the Kiwis were going to run away with this thing, and they started planning their parade in Auckland on Queen Street. Well, it's not the case. Race number 14 on day 12 will go the way of the defenders. Oracle Team USA lives to fight another race.
Don't run into the dock after the race. Wow. Wow. No other word. And give these guys, give New Zealand a ton of credit. They were way behind a few times. They did not quit. It just shows you, stand by, folks. We got another race to go here, and there's nothing off limits at this stage.
So it is now 8 wins to New Zealand, 4 wins to the U.S. The Kiwis still need one precious victory. The Americans' magic number is 5.
And I know the Americans don't want to talk about this, or maybe they do. What would have happened without the 2-point penalty?
Without the 2-point penalty, Kenny, we'd be looking at more of an 8-6 situation, and the pressure really would be on, and we'd still be sailing. What we do know is we have another race today. As Ken Reed correctly predicted at the start of today's broadcast, we would see 2 races. Race number 15 will take place in about 30 minutes. Can the Americans stave off another day and get through the weekend clear?
You're getting me in trouble with Kiwis all around the world. I just want to see another race. I mean, who as a sailor, I know we all have our rooting interests here, but I'm a fan of just seeing more unbelievable racing in front of crowds like this. This is so great for the sport. Hey, all bets are off at this stage.
The Army Corps of Engineers may do a quick retrofit of that pier as the fans continue to pour out and see possibly history made in what would be the most unbelievable comeback in sport. With the Americans down by 8 races, they have now cut it down to just 4 races with another race going today. And you've got to think they have the belief that, you know what, the way we're sailing, bring it.
I'm not sure there's enough Americans on board Oracle to understand if they showed them like a, let's say, a Red Sox Yankees 2004 tape or something like that. But we're starting to bring up those types of references when it comes to this. Yeah, give these guys a ton of credit. They've bought into what they're saying off the boat. And you know what? Give New Zealand credit, too. They were behind the start, didn't have their best start. And man, oh man, did they keep it close, though.
So the Stars and Stripes are waving proudly at America's Cup Park as they make their way back towards the start box. They'll give about 25 minutes of preparation, rehydration, and nutrition, and then it is game on for race number 15 as Larry Ellison and his party look on very happy as the defenders of the Cup. We go on board Oracle Team USA. Ben Ainslie, the 4-time Olympic champion. Sir Ben, that was one amazing race. Take us through it and the decision at mark number 3 to get that extra tack in.
Did you copy that, Emirates Team New Zealand? Give him a copy, start time.
Comm's not working right now to Ben Ainslie. We'll get back to him. Larry Ellison in the middle of your screen there, the owner of Oracle, the man who has really funded the vision behind this AC-72 in the 34th America's Cup.
It's fun to see the boss happy and all these guys. This is a team that's starting to get on a roll. They clearly believe, there's no doubt about that. They're putting their money where their mouth is. I'll tell you, this is impressive to watch.
You know, one of the things I think would have been good in this America's Cup if Larry Ellison actually had gotten a sail aboard the boat. But these catamarans, it's kind of a young man's game. But had he been aboard, it would have certainly been good.
So minor changes being made, fixes as the pit crew comes on board and works with the folks on board Oracle Team USA. We go on board as well with 4-time Olympic gold medalist Sir Ben Ainslie. Ben, I'll tell you what, that was definitely one to get the heart rate going, especially when you boys made it up to gate number 3 and the extra tack. What was the thinking there?
Yeah, it was a tough call for us. The wind was, as you can see, the wind was pretty light. So actually, Tommy did a great job there, helping me with the breeze, and we picked that right gate. Touch and go there for a minute, but it worked out. But then the run itself got even dicier as the wind got lighter and lighter down the course. So very tough race.
Ben, you can start breathing again now. It looked like you guys might. It was close there on that run. We were feeling for you. Just take us into the play halfway down the run. These guys are closing in. Give the people at home just an idea of what it's like on board.
Oh, it's hard because you're trying to sail the boat as fast as you can, but you know the wind's getting lighter as you get down the course, and the boat behind's probably going to gain. But the guys did a good job sailing the boat, keeping it calm. You know, again, working with Tom, did a great job. You know, when the heat really came on and they were right on our hammer there, we managed to just hold on and make the right decisions. But yeah, a few nervous moments, that's for sure.
Hey, Ben, how do you decide between going for good wind in these puffing conditions and then deciding when to cover? So you got to do one or the other. Sometimes it's hard to do both. How do you make that decision?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? At some point, you're happy to cough up a bit of a lead just to stay in phase with the other guy. I think, you know, as we came over to the city side there, we were happy just to give a little bit away. Just to stay between the other guy and the mark, but you know, if they're gaining too much, ultimately you have to, at some point you have to split and hope that you make the right decision.
Well, Ben, the good news is you guys keep the regatta going. We will see a race number 15. The bad news is you get no time to celebrate.
It's all right. It's good out here. We're happy to be racing. Thanks, guys.
Ben, thanks for your time. Ben Ainsley, tactician for Oracle Team USA, as they go for their preparations now for race number 15. Meanwhile, on board Emirates Team New Zealand, the number still remains at 1. One more victory, and the cup is going back to New Zealand for the 3rd time. But getting that one win is proving to be very challenging. As we go on board Emirates Team New Zealand, their tactician, Ray Davies, joins us. Ray, that was a heartbreaker. You were so close, and then they would gap away, and then you will reel them in. Was that just Mother Nature playing tricks on you?
Yeah, that was a pretty tricky day with the breeze dropping away, and there's huge gains and losses, and just had to keep your nerve. And you know, we got it right back in there down that run, and you know, should have just held on a little bit closer. But we'd made a nice gain out to the left, and pressure is king in that stuff. But as we saw again, it closed right up. So you know, it could have gone either way down that last run, and it's good to have races like that where the race is never over to the end.
Hey, Ray, take us into the starting box for a minute. All of a sudden, the weather end or the end towards Golden Gate Bridge is kind of in play in this flood tide. Take us through that different strategy.
Yeah, the weather end can open up a bit, but still starting tight to leeward is pretty strong. It's a long way around. Even in the flood, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. There is a subtle change there, and you know, we came off the start pretty well, and then got luffed up and, you know, wriggled out of all of that, not too badly, but then they just slipped away into more breeze. It was a dying breeze, and the leaders raced down that run, and he always just had more pressure. Then from there on, we just had to, you know, work the cone and the shifts up that beat and made really nice inroads. Guys were tacking the boat well.
You know, Ray, the fact that you were able to keep catching up there, do you think you have a little more speed at times, or is it pretty even between the boats?
I think we're going well, and I think we're going well and tacking well. Pressure's king, and I think at times they got a click soft, but at times, you know, it's going back to them, and you can see it on a grand scale down the run how much difference pressure makes, and the difference jibing and pressure makes.
Ray, we appreciate your time. We know how badly you want to give them a taste of Kiwi and get this last victory. We wish you the best of luck. We'll see you at race 15.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Ray Davies, the tactician for Emirates Team New Zealand. Their boys trying to stay warm, going through their strategy of what they'll do differently here on race number 15 to pick up that elusive one victory to take the cup back to New Zealand. Dean Barker, skipper and helmsman, top left of your screen. The rest of his crew, there you see on the right upper box, that is what they referred to as their pie warmers, the fairings on the back, and that was all the rage back 5 or 6 days ago. And I don't know if someone forgot to plug in the pie warmers, because they do not seem to be working as well as they were. As we shift over to Oracle Team USA, we've got you covered both with audio and video. There you see Jimmy Spidhill and his brain trust of Tom Slingsby and his tactician, Sir Ben Ainsley. Getting close to the start of race number 15, we want to keep educating you here on sailing. One of the most important things to know is who has the right of way, and we'll explain it to you in this edition of Know the Game.
When boats are on the open race course, there are a few major rules that help determine who is right away and who has to keep clear. If boats are going in the same direction, there are two basic rules. One, if they are not overlapped, the boat clear ahead has the right of way of the boat that's clear astern. If they are overlapped, then the leeward boat, or the boat that is downwind of the other boat, has right of way. If they are not heading in the same direction, when the wind is coming over the right-hand side of the boat, they're on starboard tack. And if the wind is coming over the left-hand side of the boat, it is on port tack. And when the two boats converge, the starboard tack boat has right of way. Knowing the game means understanding the rules, an integral part of sailboat racing at any level.
So here we go. Race number 15 is about ready to get underway. Oracle Team USA will once again have port entry, meaning they get a 10-second start into the box, and this, Ken, is all for safety purposes. You don't want these two massive boats heading for the same spot at the same time.
It is for safety purposes. Listen, right now the tacticians in the back of these boats are both thinking one thing. Please get me the lead off the starting line. You're Ray Davies, just give me the lead to play with this time. It is no fun being the tactician of the boat behind. You have to be perfect, and the other guy has to make a mistake. The guy in the lead doesn't make a mistake, you are not going to pass him.
30 on the box.
If he jibes, I think we would tack still and then push. Yeah, like
Push him right down there, get him compromised with the pin.
getting a little bit closer here.
So they're talking about strategy as to when they enter the box. They're saying if they're trying to come through all the scenarios, Todd, as to if the guy does this, we do that. If the guy does this, we do this. And so as long as it's not a surprise, that's the big thing. Let's go through the scenarios so we have no surprises.
18 from it.
We'll look for both boats to fight for the leeward end of the line on this start.
Yeah, about 15, eh? Okay, let's have a look at it.
Todd, we also wonder, possibly people at home are saying, why is Oracle coming in on the same side again? This all has to do with what race was canceled, when, how. It's very complicated.
So at 2 minutes, it is game on for race number 15. New Zealand looking for one victory to take the cup, and the Americans looking to extend it into next week.
Still thinking tack here, boys.
Got you one under now.
We're rolling to attack here, boys.
Jimmy Spithill talking about attack again. Different tactics than what we've seen in the ebb tides. This is all of a sudden these guys are worried about getting too far down current. Just a quick little tack right in front of Emirates Team New Zealand right there. Very surprising. Flag.
So the Americans have filed a protest.
And they've switched sides. Very interesting play by both of them. Oracle kind of tacking right in front. Switch back over again.
Penalty is waved off.
Both boats very close to the line here. They're going to have to kill a lot of time.
Emirates Team New Zealand does not want to get overlapped here. They want to prevent from being overlapped. Can they get up to weather? Is Jimmy Spithill too close to this pin and lay line? Keep gapping if you're Team New Zealand at this stage. Try to keep distance between the two boats.
Chance of rolling him on this one, Toppy.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to get to the line.
And this looks very similar to what we saw in race number 14, where the Americans try to push them high at the line.
Yeah, but this is different, though. This is way down by that yellow line. This is much further down the line. Emirates Team New Zealand could be in a better place to be a slingshot here in this start.
He's calling.
course on race number 15. The Americans trying to stay alive, and here comes the Kiwi acceleration.
The Kiwis did a little bit of a skid sideways there all of a sudden and put their hull in the water. Is that enough to allow Oracle to stay out in front? I think it's going to be. A little skid killed them there.
New Zealand was too late, 2 seconds late pulling the gun. Again, no practice starts before the race.
At mark number 1, it's the Americans that have the inside lane, but the lead is just a mere 3 seconds.
Boy, this is a broken record here right now, but tiny little mistake there, or bad luck, really did the Kiwis in. That's just a shame for those guys. Ray Davies is tired of this position, I'll tell you that.
Okay, you can go now, Simeon. Yep.
But you can't give up. You just got to keep fighting. Eventually, you'll find a way to get past.
Copy.
Well, that's what the entire nation of New Zealand is hoping for. 4.5 million people. And it is Monday in New Zealand. The folks down there are saying, let's wrap this thing up so we can get back to some effective work.
Well, as the boats race past our position here, it looks to me like Oracle Team USA is sailing a little faster.
Getting by. 3, 2, 1, driving.
So the Kiwis first to jibe, the Americans happy with their course. Ken, do you like the strategy, or should they be covering?
Well, they'll cover here eventually, but it's just a matter of where you see the wind. If you're the boat ahead, remember, you get a better chance of actually jibing when you want and in the breeze that you like. So a lot of times we see the boat ahead extend because they're picking probably a more opportune time to tack and pressure.
Get it going, dude. Get it going. Big trim, God.
Let's go back and look at the start one more time, and this is awfully close. Not only the collision, Ken, but a penalty, but the umpire said no penalty here.
Yeah, right now, all Oracle is saying is, hey, we're on starboard tack. The other guy's on port tack. They got in our way. Well, you could also make a case that Oracle put themselves into that position a little bit too close. Oracle actually threw a flag on this. It's either head to wind, and now they're on starboard. It probably was a close call by the umpires at that stage. I'm kind of surprised that Emirates Team New Zealand didn't protest. It was only Oracle that pushed their button on their flag, and the umpires decided in the back room with all the technology they had, no harm, no foul.
Yeah, I think it was a good call, green flag.
Here it is on virtual eye.
There's Oracle head to wind and on starboard at the last second. Wow, huge, you know, about 2 meters between the two boats there as they went ripping by each other, but yeah, no foul.
So much for that 10-second advantage to keep them safe harm's distance away from one another, and right now it's 400 meters. We've seen this play out before, and folks, don't turn off your TV just yet, because in the race prior to this, the Kiwis were down by 500 meters, and they came back to close it out. So here we go, leg number 2, the Americans with a sizable lead. They got the start they wanted. They led at mark number 1, and now they're starting to pull away. The question is, can Ray Davies and Emirates Team New Zealand find the sweet spot on this course and reel them back in?
The temptation is to go for a home run when you're the boat behind, but if you're Ray Davies, you got to just keep thinking, keep it close. There's enough opportunity on this race course. Don't swing for the fence now. Just try to keep it close. But they're not even foiling right there, Todd. It's light air again at this end of the race course. They're not even up on their foils.
Good saves there, boys. Really good.
Wow. What a, I mean.
How did that happen?
I know, I wasn't expecting that. Holy moly. Just a huge wind difference, hey, Gary?
Yeah, well, the big difference here is there's no current. So playing the wind actually is more important than last time. And it is very puffy out here. New Zealand's got to find strong wind and stay in it and make up distance. Not worry about match racing, just get closer.
3, 2, 1, driving.
Quick look there at Glenn Ashby, the 35-year-old Aussie on board the Emirates Team New Zealand boat as the wind trimmer. They're looking for anything right now. They are looking for an absolute miracle. They're looking for the fans on the shore to start waving the Kiwi flags to give them some kind of breeze that they can work with.
Yeah, this is good. Give it fast, Scott. Give it fast.
Just full credit to Slingsby and Ainsley in the back of this boat. They're splitting when they should split, kind of like what we were talking about in those post-race interviews. When they should split and go for the breeze, they're doing the right thing. When they should keep it close and cover, they're doing that well too. Amazing that this team is only, that afterguard's only sailed together for, what, a week and a half total?
Ken's talking about the folks in the back of this. The helmsman, Jimmy Spithill, picked up a new tactician in the form of Sir Ben Ainsley, who's a helmsman himself, and he's also got help from Tom Slingsby, who's also a helmsman, but they're playing the role of strategist and tactician after they make the change with John Kostecki.
I don't think anybody even on that boat thought you'd see a lead this big on leg number 2.
Oracle Team USA absolutely blitzing leg number 2. As they make their way to the gate, they have all the time in the world to make this decision, but Jimmy Spithill will make it clean, and they will head towards Alcatraz yet again. This will be an absolutely enormous number on the clock by the time the Kiwis get to gate 2.
Just real calm demeanor on this boat, and it's paying off. You would think they'd be terrified. I mean, they're one race away from losing the America's Cup, and not a single bit of tension on board the boat. Very impressive.
Just short of the ley lines, the Kiwis make this jibe, but they've still got about 100 meters before they get to the gate, and the clock keeps running.
Yeah, I like the fact that not one member of that crew aboard Oracle looked at the other boat as they passed. Good discipline.
It's going to be that fairly early tack, unfortunately. That's a job. Half down.
2, 1, here we go.
And it will be 1 minute even, the advantage for the Americans, as the Kiwis now head upwind, looking for Mother Nature to give them a hand.
20 seconds. Yep.
And the folks at AC Park enjoying the beautiful weather and enjoying this incredible racing. Well, I noticed a few All Black flags out there. They were not waving as enthusiastically as they were at the start of the day, and hopefully they can cheer their boys on. But right now they are in a deep hole of 410 meters, so they have cut into the lead just a bit. They were down by 1 minute at the turn at mark number 2, and the Kiwis excelled, remember, last time going upwind against the Americans.
They were down by 350 at this stage in the last race, so it's not too dissimilar at this stage. Sure seems like a bigger mountain to climb just from looking at it. But yeah, the numbers don't lie. They're at about where they were in the last race.
Gary, what does the course look like as it gets closer to the Golden Gate Bridge? Where's the best spot to position yourself?
Well, the left side of the course along the city front's going to be better. And one of the little differences just in the last 5 minutes or so, the wind is filled in, so you're not going to see those big holes that we found in the last race.
Now, that's probably bad news for Emirates Team New Zealand. They would like to see the Americans hit a few of those holes right now so they can close this gap. But it is 440 meters to the Americans, and that's what the Kiwis are looking at, trying to climb this mountain here in race number 15, needing only 1 victory to claim the America's Cup, and the Americans now need just 5.
11 knots of breeze, really light at the bottom end of the racetrack. Breezier, clearly, look at that, barely getting through it. Really tough day on the bay here right now.
And Ken, like Sasquatch, no chance of seeing some upwind foiling today, is there?
You gotta let the Sasquatch thing go.
Good pressure on the shore.
It didn't work the first time, but I'm not so sure it worked that either.
How big of a factor, Gary, is the cone in this race? You were talking about the wind filling in and a little less of a flood tide.
I like the way New Zealand's heading. You know, it looks like they almost put a smaller jib up, and it's just not working for them. The wind didn't fill as much as they anticipated.
Okay. Yep, go straight. Breeze line on our bow. Here we go.
Leg 3 of 5, the second race of the day, and it is the Americans with a large lead of more than 400 meters.
All kinds of racetrack left here, though, and puffy, really tough, puffy conditions that make tacticians go crazy. But if you're behind, you want it to get as weird as possible, because that's your only chance of getting by at this stage.
And there's the game coming, as Gary Jobson pointed out, the left side of the course a little faster, and the Kiwis are on the accelerator, but they just cannot get it down to 300 meters. Now remember, they will still head downwind. The bad news is the Americans have looked so good downwind.
Nice little breeze right upwind of these guys, though. They're not.
More breeze all the way, eh?
Yeah, he's saying more breeze all the way in. That's a good sign for the guy who's behind, heading towards the city front.
45 seconds.
And the lead continues to come down. So just like in race number 14, the Kiwis not giving up. Closed it down to 250 meters.
They're just shifting into that ebb current, that outgoing current right along the city front before Oracle does right now. They will have a bit of an advantage until Oracle can get across that tide line.
And you know, Ken, initially when they made the change on board Oracle Team USA, replacing John Kostecki with Ben Ainsley, who's normally a helmsman or driver of the boat, and you had Tom Slingsby, who usually acts as a driver of the boat, I thought, well, this may not work out. This is like putting 3 quarterbacks on a football team and letting them all work together. But it seems like after the first couple races, they've all found their spot.
Well, they also made the boat go faster, too. Keep that in mind. You know, John Kostecki is a great tactician. He was in a tough spot. He was trying to work with a boat that clearly wasn't up to speed, especially upwind in those first few races. He kind of took the brunt of it. These guys are doing a great job, but it's not a bad feature when you're the tactician and your boat starts going literally knots faster. It makes you look a bit smarter.
And they did make several changes, as Jimmy Spittle pointed out, several changes to the boat. So it wasn't just the replacement of John Kostecki that has turned this thing around.
No, absolutely not. In fact, you can make the case it's not that at all.
Pressure on you now. They set up. Yeah. Good pressure from now, guys. Twisting. Good pressure on the bow. Yeah. Good pop.
Todd, as usual, the Kiwis are not getting any further behind. You know, this beginning part of this leg is where they make some really good inroads every single time they're behind, so don't count them out by any means.
You know, Ken, you think that's a long distance, but these boats make up so much distance in a short period of time with one gust of wind. They go 2 to 3 times the speed of the wind, that you can close it up easily.
So the Kiwis make the tack and they trail the Americans, but the lead is coming down now around 250 meters. Well, you can see on the right-hand side of that, courtesy of AC Live Line, really, there's hardly any tide on the right-hand side of the course.
Yeah, you see the tide line right out in front of. Remember, the blue arrows are what these tide models think it is, but we could see just to the right of Oracle there's actually a big current line on the water. They're both probably in reasonably similar tide at this stage. Maybe a little advantage to New Zealand, but it's probably not quite as dramatic as those blue arrows were showing us.
Pressure inside us again, Dina.
Last into it and then take that. Let's go. Stand by. Sorry. Stand by. Next. Build speed. Go through. Yeah, good one. 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Nice work, boys. Good patience, boys. 23. Go in.
And there's the title line that Ken was talking about. So the current, really in no one's favor right now, is the Americans to perform yet another attack.
They went right, they kind of a nice blocking move for Emirates Team New Zealand to continue back across, to tag and come across to the left-hand side. They're going to have to go beyond that current line, and that's not a perfect situation.
This is leg 3 of 5, the second race of the day. The Americans won the first race, which was race 14. And every race they win, it forces another one because the Kiwis are on match point. One more victory to New Zealand, and the cup is theirs.
Up on foils, going upwind, little breeze increase as they get up here. That's a nice advantage to the boat ahead. When you're sailing into more wind, you tend to extend.
Look at the difference in speed here, guys. 31, 32 knots for the U.S. boat, only 23 for Emirates Team New Zealand. That's a tremendous difference.
And is this a case, Ken, of the Americans just found wind earlier, and we'll get to the Kiwis momentarily?
Well, found wind earlier, and remember, this is GPS boat speed, so that probably a little bit of current help. That probably is let's call it a knot and a half on the left side, and probably a little bit of current against on the right side. So all the factors together, big advantage to the Americans. Look at this.
And as we go on board these boats, I see a real difference between Spittle when he's steering. When he wants to go fast, he leans inboard. When he wants to point higher, he's always leaning outboard. His body language tells us a lot of how he wants the boat to go.
Currently traveling at almost 31 knots, 35.7 miles an hour. Oracle Team USA on the right, and the Kiwis on the left. And as Ken pointed out, the Americans foiling upwind, and the Kiwis still with a hole in the water.
Afterburners on Oracle Team USA right now. Very impressive at exactly the right time.
So, Kenny, I have a question for you, my friend.
Uh-oh.
You're down 4-1. You got to win 4 more races after this. New Zealand's got to win 1. You get to choose which boat you're on. Which boat would you take?
Oof. It's hard to bet. When you're watching a boat go 32 knots upwind, foiling right now, it's hard to bet against that boat, isn't it, Gary?
It is, and they're coming right past us here on Regardless now. They're only a couple lengths away. Very impressive going upwind. In fact, I've never seen anything like it. This is the best Oracle Team USA has sailed the entire America's Cup right now.
No more mode here, Jimmy. You want to make this lay line. Nice work. Nice transition.
So there they're calling that a transition. They went from that kind of lower and slightly faster mode up on foils to a higher and slightly slower, probably similar VMGs, Todd, that elusive number directly toward the mark. See that angle right around it. It looks like they rounded that buoy, but that's just a mode change from low and fast to high and slow.
The Americans sailing 32.5 knots upwind. Meanwhile, Emirates Team New Zealand is checking in at 25.5 knots upwind.
Come on, here we go. Take a rep. Yep.
Oracle setting up to take the left gate going downwind. That hasn't worked. We'll see if they actually do that left gate this time.
You should have tide should be neutral here, if not helping you up at the buoy.
You're hearing the voice of tactician Ben Ainsley. Far right of your screen.
Just keep a little in the bank, Paul. Go, boys, going. Nah, the sheet's off. The sheet's off. We're fine. It's definitely off. It keeps getting loaded up by someone. Every time they... Yeah, now. Go for it now.
Here, guys. But going to want an early jibe.
For sure that we will see an early jibe out of Oracle here just to stay with the other boat.
Probably early jibe. Copy. The pressure here.
So at gate number 3, the Americans maintain a lead. Remember, at gate number 2, it was 1 minute. The clock begins. How much will be their lead as they head to the finish line?
Off the shore also.
Yeah. Better hold it for now, yeah. Go. Get pressure on the bow. Going straight for a bit here.
Nice job, Cole.
Happy going straight, Jimmy.
Copy. Less pressure here.
So the Americans around gate 3, happy with the pressure they're feeling on the right-hand side of the course as they head downwind. Meanwhile, Dean Barker, Emirates Team New Zealand, make the turn. And the good news for the Kiwis is they have cut the lead almost in half. So now Dean Barker and Ray Davies and the brain trust of Emirates Team New Zealand, Ken Reed, they have to make something happen here. They have to find better pressure and better current.
The screws are getting tight on Emirates Team New Zealand right now. Every loss, you got to believe that the doubt might start creeping into the back of your mind. What was insurmountable, all of a sudden, there's a chance, you know?
Well, the start of this regatta, the majority of the folks around town in the know, which does not include me, thought that the Americans would win the cup, and they would probably get 9 victories and maybe 4 or 5 for New Zealand. Close, but the Americans were the faster boat. As soon as the first couple days took place, it was apparent that the Kiwis just had a faster boat.
Well, that is the one thing that I think people around town were just stunned at, is how the Kiwis came out of the blocks more maneuverable and faster upwind than Oracle was, and not by a little bit, substantially. But then exactly the exact same approach. They didn't stop. Oracle said, "Okay, let's fix this," and they did. That's the inconceivable thing, how much they've improved.
45 seconds this way.
Gary, with a leg and a half to go, what do the Americans need to do to maintain this lead?
Very simple, Todd. Stay between the New Zealanders and the mark. They're looking really good. Tomorrow's going to be another day if they're able to hold on. And the breeze really has picked up here dramatically in just the last 5 or 6 minutes, blowing about 18 or 19 knots.
Well within the wind limit set for this race, which is 23.3 knots, so we're good to go there. They've already rounded mark number 3, so that's not an issue. And right now, if you're Emirates Team New Zealand, you're thinking, is there any way we can play our stoppage card right now?
I don't think so. It's a little late for that. They got to win a start. It's becoming clear all the time that the boats are even enough in speed, or maybe a little edge to Oracle. It's time that Team New Zealand may switch philosophy and say, okay, time to get more aggressive. We have to actually win a start and get these guys going slow.
Going to get a little bit larger for you.
Seconds the other way. 5 seconds the other way. Same to lift it. Okay, 30 seconds the other way.
On the first full day of fall in San Francisco, the Summer Showdown has turned into a fall classic here at the 34th America's Cup. Oracle Team USA maintaining a 400-meter lead on board. It is Jimmy Spithill, Ben Ainsley, Tom Slingsby making the decisions, and what a crew they have. The boys, as Jimmy has said, just will not quit.
Don't leave Kyle Langford out of the equation here. Here's a kid that was thrown into this position as the wing trimmer literally days before this event started. He's cleared, as this aft 4 people, the 4 guys in the back of the boat, get more comfortable with each other, especially a young kid like Kyle. They have to get better, right? They have to.
Well, is the lead insurmountable? It may be, as Emirates Team New Zealand is running out of track. You see mark number 4 in the distance, Dean Barker, trying to find some kind of magic mojo to get his boat up to where the Americans are. And Gary, as we spin this forward, if there is in fact racing tomorrow and we see a day 13, any idea what the weather conditions look like?
Well, Todd, I just had a talk with John Craig, the principal race officer here on Regardless. He says the wind tomorrow is going to be a little bit lighter, about the same direction. And then if we go on to Tuesday, that's a big if, but if we do, the winds will be a little bit stronger. So the prospects of having 2 races over the next 2 days are very encouraging.
Expect the unexpected here in San Francisco when it comes to the weather. We have seen high winds, low winds, fog, misdirection winds. Even spotted a few whales on the course yesterday.
But all of a sudden, Oracle has a really slow jibe right there. Really slow jibe. What was a 500-meter lead is down to almost nothing. Again, very light at this end of the race course.
So here we go, under 150 meters, and here come the Kiwis.
Just very light wind under Alcatraz. Oracle went just 2 boat lengths too far, fell into a wind shadow. That was the difference.
And they jibe away, Gary. This is a big call right now. I guess they feel like they have to do something.
Very hard to pass. They're behind. Give it a try.
Standing by.
Problem for New Zealand, they're attacking right, they're jiving right into where Oracle found the light wind.
One driving, one light out of it, touch and go.
And look at the speeds. The Americans approaching 29 knots. The Kiwis drop down to 11.
The same mistake they made in the last race, driving away when they made up the difference. They should have stayed right there.
Oracle's going to go right down and I believe lay this mark from where they were. Look at the zigzags up in the middle of the course.
Not a problem. Nice work.
Competition's nightmare.
Just a smooth turn.
After a close call in the middle of leg number 4, the Americans make the right call. The Kiwis get stuffed with bad wind, and now it is the charge for home for Oracle Team USA, looking to keep this regatta going through the weekend and into tomorrow.
Go in, boys. Nice.
That is unbelievable, Ken. We were down to 110 meters, and the Kiwis look to be just coming fast. And then just like that, it is back up to 400 meters, and the clock running over 30 seconds.
Just astonishing, really, how quickly we've seen leads collapse and then get re-put back on together. It's just... it is a stunning race course out here in what is supposed to be a very predictable place, San Francisco Bay.
And if you're a fan of Oracle Team USA, that is a beautiful sight. Up on the foils, heading for home with a lead on top of Emirates Team New Zealand. So 2 races today go the way of the defenders of the America's Cup. Oracle Team USA will pick up point number 5, and it will now be 8-5, with the Americans needing just 4, the Kiwis just 1. The Sunday showdown belongs to Oracle.
Great day.
That's not emotion we just saw, is it? Hey, these guys should be very proud of themselves. That was the best day of racing we've seen out of an Oracle team yet. Great starts, fantastic tactics in really hard conditions. They should be very, very proud of themselves.
And for the second time today, needing just 1 victory, Emirates Team New Zealand will come in 2nd place. Their final delta as they cross the line, 37 seconds, and the racing goes on. Not much to say aboard the Emirates boat. Pier 27 is absolutely packed, standing room only, and you've got to give credit to the boys on board Oracle. Jimmy Spithill, Tom Slingsby, Ben Ainsley, Shannon Falcone, Rome Kirby, John O'Macbeth, Joe Spooner, Gilo Nobili, Simeon Tienpont, Kyle Langford, and Joe Newton doing a fantastic job.
You even heard those guys say we got to change our flights. Good for them. Nice work. This is the drama of sport. We were hoping that we would see a close series. I don't think anybody expected this, to be quite honest, Todd.
And Gary, this may go down as one of the greatest comebacks as Oracle Team USA has extended the regatta.
You know, there's been a lot of big comebacks in America's Cup history. This could be the biggest. 1920, the U.S. was down 0-2. They came back and won 3 straight. 1934, U.S. was down 0-2. They came back and won 4 straight. And let's not forget Australia, too. In 1983, they were down 1-3, and they won 3 straight. This team is on the verge of being able to do just that. Very impressive.
And no one happier than that man, Larry Ellison. He has been out here almost every single day, and boy, has the expression and the body language of that man changed. So the defenders live to fight another day. It is now 8-5. Emirates Team New Zealand still holds the lead, still on match point. But I'll tell you what, those wetsuits around the neck are starting to get a little tighter.
Wow, you have to believe that. And this is nothing against these guys. This is what sport like this is all about. The ebb and flow of what these guys have to deal with emotionally. And you got to believe there's some leaders in that team. A guy like Rob Waddell, who is really thought to be a leader there. He's won 2 gold medals. He's been in tough spots before. It's guys like that that have to grab everybody by the bootstraps and yank them on through this tough time.
One guy that wasn't on board the boat on Team New Zealand today was the team leader, Grant Dalton. When he's been on board, they seem to win. They haven't. When he's not on board, they haven't won yet.
Well, a beautiful day of racing comes to a conclusion. Before we say goodbye, we bring in the man of the hour and his crew, James Spithill. Congratulations, sir. You live to fight another day. Not only 2 tremendous starts, but when the Kiwis put the pressure on, you and your brain trust seem to have all the right answers.
Yeah, what a fantastic day. Really, really good racing under a lot of pressure. And I thought Tom and Ben just did a fantastic job when we had some real key decisions to make. But then in the engine room, I mean, the boys were just out of this world. I mean, they were just such a physical day on the handles, and man, they delivered.
Jimmy, talk about how hard it is to be a tactician on a day like today. I think you've got the easy job. You get to just hold on to the wheel. It seems to me that Benny and Tom are a bit under the gun.
Man, a day like today, I mean, it really is all about the tactics. And Tom and Ben, I mean, really under a lot of pressure there a few times, but kept their cool. You know, everyone stayed calm, and man, they just sailed such a great race. 2 great races.
Jimmy, very impressive watching you foiling upwind today on that leg to windward. How much more do you got in this boat? Can you keep improving?
Man, we've got more. We're going to get more out of the old girl. The short team worked very, very hard last night, found some extra wheels for us, and the changes really made a difference. So I'm really excited to get back in there tonight and see if we can get a bit more out of her.
Well, Jimmy, as we told Ben Ainsley after the first race, the good news is you get the win. The bad news is you don't get much time to celebrate. We will see you back here on the bay tomorrow.
Can't wait.
Jimmy Spithill, helmsman for Oracle Team USA, good enough to take some time to chat with us as they will head back to their dock and, as he said, try to get more out of the old girl. Meanwhile, for Emirates Team New Zealand, they still remain on match point. 1 more victory and the cup is going to New Zealand. Their skipper and helmsman, Dean Barker, sick and tired of talking with us. But Dino, it was a great race today. It just seemed like when you needed the win, Mother Nature wasn't there for you.
No, it was quite tricky conditions in the end. It was yeah, big variation top to bottom, and yeah, we just didn't do a very good job managing the downwinds. You know, those first downwinds, we just coughed up too much distance, and you know, it's going to be a hard day, 2 starboard entries. Yeah, just trying to be as close as we could at the bottom, but both times we just let them, you know, gave them too much runway.
Dino, let's go back to the start for a second. That's a tough spot, but that second start, it looked like you were really close to being able to pull the trigger and get over the top of those guys.
Yeah, we sort of were pretty happy with the spot. Just didn't probably execute it quite as well as we should have with the acceleration, and you know, it's millimeters basically. You know, you make one little mistake and they get strong. You know, the worst thing you can do is go around the outside of the pinwheel. So yeah, we conceded early, and I think we sort of had a better exit out of Mark 1, but probably just jogged away a little early.
So Dean, the wind's supposed to be a little bit lighter tomorrow. Going for win more than match race tactics. How are you going to play it?
Oh look, it's you know, it's right there for the taking. You know, we just have to put a solid race together, and we didn't do as good a job as what we expect to do today. But, you know, we're certainly not down. We know we definitely can win this thing. And we'll go out there tomorrow and, you know, obviously debrief tonight pretty thoroughly, but we'll do a much better job of it tomorrow.
Dean, we appreciate you being so gracious and talking with us. We know you have a lot of work to do. We will see you back here tomorrow and wish you the best of luck.